Three, two, one, clap. Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie
start
Gems.
over, because I was like 17 years behind because I was like delayed because you guys broke out and then they came back and it was like... I was like, what? I totally...
Don't do a clap.
And then you're like, welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie. I was like, what? Did I just travel in time? Am I in Cube Zero?
I was wondering why it took so long to clap.
Who says that you need to meet in person? There's so much humor to be had from this.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. I just noticed that I say my middle name on every other episode. So, that's not a quote from this movie. A quote from this movie is, water, water.
Dang it.
Gosh, that's the dumbest shiz I've ever seen.
What the freak?
Me and Ty literally talked about this. We said the only reason Jordan is gonna wanted to review this movie is to see our reaction to the water scene. Like, this is the only reason he's watching.
Or this whole movie. This is just a thought experiment for Jordan to be like, oh my gosh, Jordan gets off exposing us to weird movies. This is like the most Jordan movie.
Okay, I mentioned this earlier. It's a palate cleanser. It seriously is. What do you do before you eat a big meal? You have like a little bit of sherbet ice cream. Mom does. It kind of helps your taste buds.
You drink a gallon of bleach, apparently,
so
in Jordan's mind.
This movie seriously helps you appreciate. Cameron mentioned this on The Room. He said it helps you appreciate.
I love bleach mixed with vinegar.
It helps you appreciate
this
better
makes
films.
it like going down.
I feel like Jordan.
This is
films. It's like a metaphor. The acid that he's bathing himself in, that's Jordan just gobbling up. He's like, these types of movies.
This is like eating what is it? It's like eating nails for breakfast. Oh, that's not tough. Without any milk.
Right this way.
Without any milk.
Right this way.
Without any milk.
That's how watching this movie is, eating nails.
Well, we haven't introduced the other people on the podcast. We've still got to introduce Cameron Mickle on the pod.
This room is green. I want to go back to the blue room.
Which, again, I have nitpicks about that.
Ty, was that twist as good as the ending of Split?
Gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, it was as good as the Citizen Kane of like Rosebud reveal. Okay, are you kidding me? No, the reveal means nothing. The reveal doesn't mean anything except the fact that they put a brain chip in everyone's head, and some of them turn out handicapped. Then anyway.
No, but that was the. That's
not the same person.
It is the same person. It's the same person.
Now I hate this movie even more.
They connected the universes.
Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. Oh my gosh. All different actors, years later. See, Grant doesn't even know what's happening.
Yeah, I didn't see the first movie.
Because that's why it's called...
Introducing Grant Mickle on the pod.
That's all we need, a retard.
Which is the same language they used in the first movie, and I got that.
That's funny.
But they were different actors. I guess they tried to make them look alike.
And then I'm sure
there was like one black guy and there was a white woman.
They gave him a face job, I'm sure. No, he's probably escaped many times, or all the people in his group died except him.
Jordan, are you trying to justify this movie?
No,
this is weird.
This is why it's called Cube Zero. It's the story before the cube.
Yeah, I know it's a prequel. I know. I got that. But I still didn't like the connection because at the end, I'm like, this idiot is imitating the most cringeworthy performance since the first movie. and since 12 Monkeys, Brad Pitt and 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, this movie hurts my soul.
And again, Brad Pitt is like one of my
favorite
actors.
I didn't say my quote.
That being said.
You didn't introduce me?
I didn't introduce you?
No, you didn't.
Oh my gosh. You just did your first thing and then we just started crying.
Oh, well, I did the most important. So yeah. That's right. The water, you guys got a little excited about that one. Jordan Christensen's on the pod.
Touch me again, soldier, and I'll feed you your eyeballs.
I knew I was in for a trip when she said that. I was like, this is like 3 minutes into
Spat on his face. Why?
She spat his face.
And then he just looks at her, and I literally put this scene without context looks really, really bad. Because she's like, you're kind, and she spits on him, and you're like, is it because he's black, lady? That's what I thought the first time I watched this. Like, my goodness, she spits in his face. I'm like, no. It's because he's this dumb soldier with a forehead tattoo. Anyway.
That was wild.
It's too hard to explain. Let's just assume it's because he's black. That's fine with me. I don't care. So, guys, let's get into this movie, Cube Zero. This movie came out in 2004. This movie was directed by Ernie Barbarash.
Bernie.
Barbarash, if I'm saying that. Barbarish. Barbarish? Ernie Barbarash. Barbarash. Barbara. Say that name.
Barbara.
Barbarash. There's too many.
Barbarash.
Ernie Oh my gosh. Okay, and
My IQ is dropping by the minute.
guys, it stars Zachary Bennett.
It already dropped too much after watching this fetching movie. Can't afford any more brain sales.
It's got Stephanie Moore. Who's apparently the most gorgeous, beautiful woman of all time ever.
Dude,
Ty, quit drooling over your computer.
Quit drooling over your computer.
It's gonna mess up the calibration.
your mouth.
I was like, what is he talking about? Is she really that hot, or is this guy such an incel, like working in this factory, this lab? Martin Roach. It's got Michael Riley, who plays the weirdest one-eyed person I've ever seen in a movie before, with a cyborg guy that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Grant, those clips you were sending us, oh my gosh, I was
so
dying.
priceless. So priceless.
What? What's that noise?
It also stars David Hubbard. And no, guys, if you know David Hubbard, he was Dodd. Guys, do you know where I know David Hubbard before? And I never would have made this connection except I watched Tommy Boy this week.
No,
and David Hubbard, Dodd, is the gas station tenant in Tommy Boy that's making fun of David Spade for having a map that's in the wrong state. That is David Hubbard. He is in Tommy Boy, like my favorite comedy of all time. Just had to throw that out there. He made it. He's the chubby guy, yeah, who pulls out all the wires.
Crucial role.
Yeah, he's very important.
When did he get a Grinch heart that grew 10 sizes that day? Where did that happen? When he
saw the pictures of him as a superhero with his nerd buddy friend, Win.
Oh, that's when it was.
He saw the
that's
images
right.
and he's like, oh, you drew pictures of me, so I guess we're friends now. It's like, I would have been like, what the fuck? Burn these and have him killed.
When literally earlier in the show, he called him a freak of nature.
Yeah, and then he sees the drawings and he's like,
less
worried about him being a freak of nature. He's now like, oh, he draws pictures of me in tight leotards, fighting crime with him side by side. It's very weird, very weird. Oh my gosh, guys, oh my word.
This seems like a movie that on paper, it's like, it doesn't seem like it should be that bad.
Yeah, there's so many concepts that I'm like, oh, they took that from like so many different movies. I wrote down all the movies.
Like
but
Inception.
I don't know if we want to get to that.
And Interstellar, right, Jordan? Because
it's
Cube was before Inception.
Christopher Nolan watched these movies and was greatly inspired by these movies. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, like, one of the relations is Cabin in the Woods when he's like the boys upstairs and they're talking like it sounds meta. Like is he talking about the audience? He's like, oh, the girls they like those girls young and stuff. And is that the director poking fun at the audience, or are they actually just talking about the people that work upstairs?
Oh, so you think it's like the meta commentary? I thought it was commentary.
I did not think it was that woke. I think this
capitalism.
Movie is...
Yeah, I didn't. I just thought it was more about capitalism and stuff like that. We talked about this in the first.
Yeah, Jordan, don't you know like the government that like assassinates you randomly somehow? Like,
well, and then I also thought of the Count of Monte Cristo when he's like.
Crystal? It's not Crystal. It's Crystal.
Crystal. That's what I said. He's like, Crystal. I know you're innocent.
Take for granted.
But the girl, like, remember? Okay, so when they send people away to the prison, he's like, you think they send innocent? I mean, he's like, I'm innocent. He's like, of course you are. He's like, they send innocent people here. Why do you think they send them to the Shadow of Death or Deef?
A Shadow of Death?
Yeah. They took the political girl and all these other people, like some of them obviously are bad, but some of them are not. They're just like, they take them for political reasons. Like they took this girl who was innocent. She didn't sign those waveforms. So I'm just saying like.
Waveform?
Guys, real quick, this whole like consent form, you can't consent to something that's illegal unless this is a dystopian dispute.
It is illegal.
It is. Triumphantol is way illegal, okay? Yeah. I need my friend Kurt to come in here and explain the law. You cannot sign a document. Like, it reminds me a little bit of Squid Game where they're like signing the form. I'm like, I guess in other countries, maybe you can sign a form that's to do something illegal, but like, you can't have like a legally binding contract that's illegal. Like, me and Grant, if we agree, like, this isn't really happening, listeners, everybody relax, but me and Grant signed an agreement agreement to assassinate someone, and I paid him for it, and I had a contract. I can't take it to court and say, Your Honor, I had Grant promising to kill this person for $5 million. And then it's like, well, you signed an agreement to do something illegal, therefore the contract is
Kind of like
null and
El
void.
Hoyo, the platform.
Yes, it totally is like that.
what?
That's like just a better
Remember
version
when
of
they
this.
sign up and each
Platform.
one thinks they're signing up for a different thing.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's different in other countries, but I would assume this is just taking place in a dystopian
El
future,
Hoyo.
right?
Is
Is this happening in the real world?
I don't know.
They still have Mexican blankets to keep warm, so I'm guessing it's not that far removed from reality. Anyway.
And Ty, did you think of Invincible with that creature where they destroy the nerves and they're like, oh, he can't feel anything, so he's fighting, remember,
Are you
that
talking
big
about the
octopus
soldier
creature?
guy at the end when he fights him?
Yeah, when they get rid of his nerves and they make him stronger and he turns into like a superhero.
Why would that make me think of Invincible?
Are you talking about
What?
Invincible, the giant monster? Yeah, I was thinking of Invincible, the giant monster.
Okay, so Invincible, remember the government catches that octopus squid
yeah.
creature and
yeah,
they
yeah,
get
big
rid of his
horse
nerves.
with a face. Yeah.
So he can not feel any pain, so he starts beating the crap out of the superheroes. The same thing with this
Right.
military soldier. They're like, all right, get rid of his nerves, and they make him like a superhuman.
But like, is he superhuman? Because they take him out like a song. It's so bad, dude.
Well, yeah, and I was just curious, oh my gosh, him hesitating before he jumps in the water. I'm like, oh, are you serious? Was his brain fried or something? Is that why he hesitated?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
And-
also, why green eyes? Is that a feature
Yes,
of brain
I
chips?
was totally
and he's
thinking
like, what the fudge?
Of the what's the movie where it's like green eyes? I was totally.
I
Oh,
would make both.
that's Big
Maybe
Trouble in Little
Little
China. Green eyes.
Like I said, this movie has like all
What
my
does it
favorite parts
mean?
from different
Mr.
movies. Like when the guy swallows the key, totally thought of
Oh my gosh, dude. I thought of freaking dragged across concrete.
yes, and then he cuts him open.
Freaking, he's like, I guess I'll have to go through your intestines, and just cut them out of you.
Yes, that's true.
But don't rip open the kidneys.
Like
That
Grant
shit's
said,
stick.
that's why I think this movie sounds good on paper. He's like, oh yeah, I'm taking all
spleen.
my favorite parts from all my favorite movies and.
And it's just the biggest dumpster's fire of all
Except this
time.
movie came out way before all those movies, so maybe all those movies drew inspiration, Cameron, from this one.
Where do you think Cupid's drawing its inspiration from? You think they're the fountain of everything? You think they're inception of good movie writing? Like
They're the fountain of good ideas.
in
Every good
2004,
idea
we had
ever.
the Cube Renaissance.
Yeah, what the fuck?
My goodness.
But seriously,
Every
like
film
Revolutionary
festival.
movies that inspired great
Interstellar
sci-fi
Tie
films.
is literally Cube 2, Hypercube. I'm telling you.
I would love in an interview if Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, they're all sitting in a room and they're like, well, we all drew inspiration from, of course, I'm referring to the modern day classic masterpiece. Gosh, so dumb. So dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my gosh. Like
Oh my gosh.
we've seen a lot, but this is just, you should be looking at those files. It's not against the rules. It's not encouraged.
Oh my gosh. That's right.
Layers
Dude,
at
no,
him.
just
The fudge.
okay. Dude, like there was a thing that I noticed. I'll just get like right into my nitpicks.
Just get
There was a scene where she started
and everything else. Let's skip her first two favorite things.
She
Yeah.
started to shake before he grabbed her. She started to shake and then he grabs her and shakes her. I was like, that did not actually just epic happen. I had to rewatch it
gosh.
to make sure.
That was
I was
so
like, no way
funny.
that actually happened.
Well, and everybody is 0 to 180 in 2 seconds all the time. Like, I gotta grab her, beat her up. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey, sorry. We come
As soon as she comes in the wall, they're like, everyone attack her. And he's like, hey, what the freak? And then she's like, sorry, I had to know
Yeah,
you
know
one
what?
of them. I'm like,
you-
that's the way you
dude,
approach
you
someone.
know what it
Like,
reminds me of? It reminds me of cutscenes from video games. You know when you like fight a guy and then you're like, oh wait, I'm not yet, and you like stop interacting with them, and then they just go back to normal, and then they're like, hey, yeah, you want to do this? You know, like the constant cutting back and forth. I'm like, is this a video game?
What are you doing?
It's like every person in Pokemon.
Was that the Hobbit?
Yes, the guy at the
What are you
well.
doing?
Okay, yes. Guys, I have watched a YouTube video. There is an internet documentary of the Hobbit video game speed playthrough. It is 2 hours and 44 minutes long.
No effing way.
Watch the documentary. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome.
It's the Hobbit video game. Just look it up. Just look up. It's a YouTube documentary, and it's about that playthrough for the Hobbit. And
Dude, me and
when you
Grant
said,
say-
"Hey, what you think you're doing?" I literally just grabbed my pants. I was like, "What are you guys talking about the Hobbit?" Anyway, sorry. Back on the movie. What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? Oh, dude, freaking! What are some of the other quotes from that movie? That video game. Bad the trees. Freaking love that video game, dude.
Bad the trees. No, the troll scene when you die fetching 400 times. You have to hear him.
Come here, you nasty little rabbit. Oh, it looks tasty. What is it? And every time Cameron's like screaming and smashing his fist into the keyboard, he's like, "That's it, died again!" And then he had me come down and freaking beat the game.
Yeah, that was the hardest shit ever. Because I was so impatient, so I couldn't creep slowly enough. It would end. And same thing with,
Which still bothers me to this day, because if you play the game, the cutscene, if you get spotted by one of the 3 trolls before you get to the book, you get caught by them, and the assumption is they're going to cook you and eat you for dinner. What's annoying is when you finally get to the end and you find the book, it gives away your location, and the trolls capture you and they get ready to eat you for dinner. So my point is, you suck, video game. You suck, because the plot was going to happen the same way.
No, but it wasn't in time. That was too early, because the sun needs to come up and turn him to stone.
but same thing with Smaug, dude. When you make too much noise and then the pixelated fire, that's the funniest shit.
Flames, fire, murder. And I'm like, murder? What? Who got murdered? What is he talking about?
Ty, Cameron freaking out on the computer playing that totally reminds me of the character with the eye at the very end when he's like, "You're testing my patience." Like, I'm like, oh, this is totally Cameron. Like, it's just
testing my patience. Guys, I gotta say, okay, I really hoped that the mystery of why all this cube thing was happening was like has a successful, exciting mystery to it, you know? And that's it. I was hoping the whole time.
Guys, just tell me, did you burst out laughing at least when he's like, "Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?"
His eyes.
And then he's standing there and he's like, "No, I don't." And then he gets burned alive. He's like, "Ah!" He should have been like, "I do believe in God." He should have changed his answer. And then he's like, "Do you believe in God?" That's the answer. And he goes, "Does anyone say they believe in God?" He's like, "No one said yes before." It's like, what? I guess I've never locked away a Christian.
Who have you been
maybe
surveying?
no God-fearing Christian would ever sign up for this crazy experiment. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, that was really
it just felt
funny.
like the Dharma Initiative. Like they were in this bunker. You didn't know who they were. They were just two guys pushing the buttons.
Reminds me of Lost. It's like, have you ever not pressed the key or the code?
I literally just mentioned Dharma Initiative, Grant. Yes, Lost, the hatch. Yeah, yeah. No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I'm glad that.
I didn't know.
That would be so funny.
You forgot what the Dharma Initiative is.
If he hit the yes button, "Do you believe in God?" Yes, and it still cooks him.
Well, I honestly think it would, or maybe it drowns them and waters a baptism. I don't know. Like, it's ridiculous.
Baptized by fire or water, you choose. It's just a big metaphor for the gospel.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That was so funny.
I mean, like, it was so funny too. Like, he was like, the acting and the lines in this movie, like, "Are you trying to psych me out? I can't hear myself think." And it's like, just relax. Like, everybody relax. Like, everyone's so weird. It's like, you just asked one question. Like, he's just like, the 2 coworkers were so funny together. It's like.
I thought you said he was on vacation.
And then all they do is sit at a computer, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like someone's heading for the exit.
Yeah, and why did he's like, "We need 2 senior technicians," and it's like, all he did was ask him a question and hit a button. It's like, why couldn't have you done that yourself?
I don't know.
He wanted someone else to experience the trauma.
Why did he know that he wasn't out sick? Why did he know that he was headed for the exit? Because he said he was out sick, but then he like seemed to be hiding the fact that he knew that he was back in the cube. Did he know? Was he observing him? I have so many questions.
Yeah,
guys.
Ty, you're asking too many questions though. You could end up in the cube too.
I can't hear myself think. Slow down. One at a time. It's so crazy. And then there's the line where he's like, "They come for you at night." He's like, "Who does?" "They do." Nice. Like, what is he talking about? Like, they snatch people up in the night.
Did you not listen to Jordan? It's from all the great movies. So it's from that M. Night Shyamalan movie. What's that one?
Signs?
No, not Signs. What's the one where like the things come at night or whatever? They're not allowed to come.
Yeah, it's called It Comes at Night. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Village.
You know, it's got a little bit of a ambiguative, unreliable narrator kind of thing.
The Village.
The Village, yeah. That's what he's referring to, Ty.
I got it. They come at night. It comes at night. What is it in this movie? So who does? They do. Nice.
It is the acting.
And the weirdest pill popping scene of any scene I've seen since like Leon the Professional with Gary Oldman.
He's like, wait. Say a prayer.
We had to say a prayer, and it's like, wait, what? This guy, see, and that was the religion part of it, where I'm like, oh, like maybe religion plays a big aspect into this thing, but then I'm like, but they're just using religion as means to keep these people enslaved. Like, I guess it's a commentary on religion.
No, I think
But I always thought it
it's
was
the
about
idea
counseling,
that
right?
it's like, is this helping reform the people and making them believe that there is a God. Like, because they're taking all these criminals, like bad people that are probably, they sin and do things like breaking the law because they don't believe in God. It's like, it's this idea that...
What did the woman do? Huh? What did the main girl do?
Well, no, she's politically bad.
Don't believe her. She had a woman and named her child Hannah. The audacity.
Oh, that's right.
That stupid woman named her daughter
Remember,
Hannah.
she's a politicalist, Grant, so...
That's right, because she was on the paper.
Yeah, and she named her daughter Hannah. Let's not overlook the fact that she named her daughter Hannah. That's very...
It's a
very
palindrome,
wrong.
Ty.
Very wrong
Not
indeed.
okay.
Yeah, Ty, palindrome. Did you know that?
We forgot to mention that, by the way, in...
Arrival.
Danny Villeneuve... Prisoner? No, Arrival. Thank
Prisoners?
you. Arrival. Prisoner. So we forgot to mention that Hannah, Amy Smart, palindrome, forward, backward, time, relative. Anyway, just thought that was really cool.
Or you could just watch the movie and know that.
Yeah, or you just forget to mention it because I put it in my notes, but like we did, I didn't get to say my funniest joke in Blade Runner 2049, so I'm going to say it here.
Oh, jeez.
I would not want to be baptized by Ryan Gosling. I'm just saying.
But he is a member of our church, so, what up?
Yeah, so he has been baptized. I have been baptized.
But if you watch him baptize love in Blade Runner 2049, you guys know what I mean. So, guys, right into this movie. Let's get into it. That pill popping scene. So it's like butter, biscuits, and gravy all in a pill. Like, would you be able to take it? Like, it reminded me of like Willy Wonka when they're popping the gobstoppers. Like, oh, it tastes like buttery biscuits and gravy. It's like, Violet, you're turning violet, Violet. And they're like, and then she blows up and then rolls out, and then they have to juice press her, and she's still blue for the rest of her life. Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't know why this. Like, it's supposed to give you that dystopian future, right? Where it's like you can have everything in pill form, but it's like, is that preferable? Like, do you want concentrated gel solution for a Thanksgiving feast? Like,
Oh my gosh. And when that guy
This is
gives
so
him a
gross.
pill, he's like, oh, who thought they only hired the mentally handicapped down here? And he like hands him a pill. Like, and-
oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, the abduction. Freaking our poor protagonist, I guess we can call it a protagonist. I actually think Wynn is the protagonist, right? Anyway, I don't know whose story this is. But Cassandra, Cass, you're in this movie. She gets abducted in plain sight with her kids. She's like walking in the forest. Like, she didn't agree or sign any non-disclosure form, obviously, but she's a political person.
And where did she find her
this-
daughter? Was the daughter just always waiting in the forest?
Dude, I don't know, and I have so many questions. That is in the most unanswerable question. We're going to get into
Ty,
all
you're
of
asking
that.
too many questions.
I am asking. Whoa, slow down. So yeah, that was crazy. The abduction and the robot eyes, the tattoos on the forehead. I'm like, it's really weird to brand all of like don't make it so obvious. You can put it on their wrist or on their hand. Like, why would you put it in the center of their fetching forehead? Now everyone knows to avoid these. Like, if you know they're the assassin, if they have a fetching tattoo right under the fetching forehead, like a swastika, they have this giant target on their forehead. It's like, obviously, I'm not gonna walk in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it reminds me of Glorious. See, look at just so many great parts from such great films.
You can't go out into society, useless freaking assassins, if you brand them with an unmistakable mark on their forehead. I'm just saying, what a stupid choice that is. Anyway.
So getting into
And what did it all mean?
my favorite
Why
thing,
did they have green eyes?
my favorite thing is that without this film, we wouldn't have Inglourious, Interstellar, Inception, not to mention countless other films. Every film ever made by Denis Villeneuve, every film ever made by Christopher Nolan, and what's his name? Django Unchained. Quentin, yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Guys, I also have other nitpicks, okay? There's a weird scene in which they're going in and erasing memories, right? And she's laying there in bed, and they're like going through kind of like the movie Paycheck. Oh, thank you for this movie, because we wouldn't have movies like Paycheck with more Ben Affleck. They go in and like delete brain, yeah, or Minority Report. Oh, there's some major Minority Report scenes in here. And then like they're going through and deleting like memory files from the brain. What was really weird is like there's a memory of her that she had, her captor looking down at her. It's actually the camera view, but like they use the same shot. And I'm like, why would her memory be of a third point of view shot of herself being knocked unconscious? Like, it makes no sense.
She had an out-of-body experience, Ty. Come on, obviously.
Yeah, I'm so confused. Like, she's literally looking at herself, and that memory's being erased. I'm like, why would I have a memory of me outside of myself? There is no memory that exists that way. You can have a vision. It's just the weirdest thing. Anyway, weirdest thing. You see the kids? Orphans. That's so funny. He was like, you see.
I laughed pretty hard
like,
at that too.
Because he's
Orphans.
talking about Owens, and he's like, yeah, you see these kids? They're orphans now. Like, I don't know why I thought it was so funny, because he's like, they're dead, I guess. He's like, he died. And he's like, don't ask questions, otherwise your family's going to die.
I thought you said he was on vacation, Ty.
Yeah, and he's like, why did he lie to him? Why did he have to keep that a lie? And then did he know the whole time? Why did he look surprised that he was heading for the exit? Like, did he not think he would make it that far?
Did the big guy, Ty, look like Hugo from Lost to you? He totally reminded me of him.
The big fat guy. Oh, okay, I have the funniest joke real quick, okay? Funniest joke real quick. The fat guy, he says, how do you know that there are traps? And the fat guy shows off his hands with a few missing fingers. And he goes, because of this. And I was like, how do we know that the fat guy wasn't snacking on his fingers and he cannibalized himself, okay? Like, I'm just saying, like, he's a big guy. He begs the question, okay? Maybe he started eating himself and he's like, oh, the boobs are booby trapped. It's like, no, you fat, you just eating yourself.
Well, yeah, and Ty, with the cube logic, yeah, after about 5 minutes in the cube, you start eating people or yourself.
Start eating everyone. I was waiting, guys. There was no the creepy cannibalism part. I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for someone.
But there was a miniature of like a zombie movie in here where it's like, oh my gosh, she's infected. You gotta kill her. Like, get her away from me. It's like she's been infected.
And we wouldn't have every zombie movie ever, or any movie, or what's called, or Halo, Flood for that matter. Just so many just great things. Yeah, he definitely didn't survive that fall.
It's like 10 feet.
He could not have survived that fall. He could not have survived that fall.
No way he could have survived that.
I love, too, that he's like, he was going to infect us all. And then the guy walked, and she's like, no, you don't know what else. And the guy walks in the room. Yes, he would have. And all of a sudden, she's like, oh, okay.
So cringy. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I guess we're justified in killing him now.
Yeah, Jordan, you don't know that's how arguments work. If it's 2 against 1, then automatically you change your opinion.
Also, I don't know why the names in this movie, like the protagonist, like I'll call him the protagonist, win. I don't know why. I was like, oh, does he win at the end of this movie? And then like there was Chickless, Owen, pretty unlikable guy, and I'm like, he probably doesn't have a girlfriend. Like Chickless, I don't know. Anyway, I'm like,
well, and I love all the
dude.
cheesy quotes. Like when he's looking at the letters on the thing, and it's like SOS. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. And then, or he sees like CIA, and he's like, is that the people who took us?
No, Ty, when I saw Chickless, I thought it was a coworker making fun of his other coworker, like saying you're chickless.
Yeah.
And it's literally his last name,
yeah.
and I was like, oh.
Okay.
This movie is a movie, I guess.
My favorite nitpick is how many shoes do they have? They're just constantly throwing them in the rooms.
Tons of boots.
Getting obliterated, and then like
there's a
shoes
montage of like shoes being shredded, being hole punched, being everything, and on fire, and they keep pulling them back. Or they rob the dead of their boots, and they're like, how could you do that? It's like, dude, want to get out of here? Why do you have morals about me taking some dead guy's shoes? It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I get it. Maybe it's a thing about capitalism, taken from the dead, stealing from the. I don't know. Is this movie about capitalism? Is the critique on capitalism?
It's because this movie went over your head. It was just too.
Yes, I don't have a refined palate to understand it. I just love too when he like, what does he do? He sees the barcode and he's like, those. Something, I don't know what he's upset about. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. I was like, what have you done with her? When he finds the barcode on her hand, she wakes up and she has the barcode on her wrist. And she's just like, those. It's like, what do you know about anything? Like, I'm so confused. Like, didn't you have your memory wiped? And she's like, oh, I know who did this to me. But then she's like, I can't remember anything. And yet I have long-term memory. I don't get how memory works. And the guy was like, I wish I could remember anything from my first birthday down to like to 20 minutes ago or whatever. I'm like so confused. Like, they have no memory of who they are. They can't remember their name barely, but because they have their name on their chest, but they still know who like the president was. Like, or someone mentioned like a joke, right? Someone said like, didn't someone say like JFK or something? Ronald Reagan. Someone said something about a president, right? I'm like, so they still know the president of the United States. Like, they still remember history, but they don't know their own name.
Yeah, it was interesting.
How's
like
that possible?
What they could remember and what they couldn't.
Yeah, it's just like whatever. Like, I mean, you don't remember anything about your history, and yet you know a full comprehensive of the English language. Like, I mean, like whatever.
It sounded like they just couldn't remember names.
Plot conveniences. Yes,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say anything revolving around the plot.
Yes. What have you done with her? And so she didn't forget that she had a daughter, but she couldn't remember that her daughter's name. So it's like, how good is this thing? Like, I guess it's not a perfect science, right? When you squeeze a literal brain chip in between your cranium into the folds of your brain, it's just like, you just shove it in there. And then sometimes you end up like the guy with the twitch. Like, oh my gosh.
I think they cut part of his brain out.
Probably. Performed a nice, good old lobotomy. Cut his cranium right open. Let's talk about some of the deaths. The deaths were great, right? Like the human milkshake at the beginning.
Oh, no,
sucking the water down.
When he starts scraping off his skin.
Killing his skin. It's just like,
I'm like, what the fuck?
And I'm like, stop. he's like, oh no, I can peel it off. I'm like, just
Ty, did that remind you of what's that horror movie? Toby Hooper, where he's peeling off his face.
Oh, I was thinking of a few different things. One, it made me think a lot of the Poltergeist scene where he's and the Poltergeist when he's in the bathroom and he's like,
A Beautiful Mind a little bit too. When he starts like scraping into his own skin because he thinks that there's a chip in there.
Oh yeah. Freaky. Oh, that's giving me
a moment of silence for Russell Crowe. Okay, so relax. All right. All right.
I love those like sound things, and his head explodes.
George's like, everybody, a little more reverence, please.
But when he's talking about this guy peeling his face off, George's dying
he's
laughing.
like, yes, more acid. It's so ridiculous. It's so great. Did they wipe her memory or not? I don't understand.
Guys, I watched this 4 times for the podcast. Is that something wrong with me?
Yes, absolutely. It kept my full attention for about 13 minutes, and then I was on the phone.
I found myself enjoying this much more than I thought I would, just because I realized, it's not going to answer any of my questions, so I just kind of let that go. I let it go, and I enjoyed it much more. I was like, I really liked the villain. I thought he was so funny, speaking French and Spanish. Michael Riley plays a character named Jax. And Jax is a one-eyed, I don't know if he's a cyborg. The eyeball doesn't do anything. It just is makeup onto his face. And it's so enjoyable to watch him.
It's painful.
If you're a fan of practical effects,
I would just ask in the future, they get real people that have one-eyed. I would hope they would hire pirates for films like these because handicap representation, it's a real problem in Hollywood.
My true nitpick is that Neil Breen wasn't cast in this movie.
Yes, he needs to make the next one.
I cannot believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this?
If he would have directed it too, Neil Breen directing and acting in the Cube 0 or Cube 9 or what is it, Cube 5?
Because he'd be like, we're gonna bust. Blow the lid on this thing. We're gonna bust the government.
We're gonna blow this all up and commit mass suicides for some effing
Touch
reason.
me again, soldier. You'll be eating your eyeballs. Jordan, you said that earlier.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
That didn't. I know. I was like, she's like, I'll feed you your eyeballs. I'm like, what?
And then she spits in his face, and she's like, why did you do that? He has the slowest reaction too. He wipes it slowly, and he's like, why did you do that? Is that a normal reaction? I would have freaking backhanded that, man. Freaking spit in my face. What a disrespectful thing to do. I'd be like, no, I would have smacked her. But instead, he's like, because you're scum. And I just, like I said, taken out of context, I have no idea what's going on here. It looked really wrong. I was like, this looks like all the TikTok videos of all the Karens freaking out at black people. This is the kind of thing that we're seeing everywhere today. I'm serious. But anyway, I just thought that was really funny. How do you know that there are traps? The fat guy shows his missing fingers. So are we to assume that he stuck his hand in a trap and then he got out again? I don't understand. I guess we're just to assume he lost 3 fingers. How do we know it wasn't due to diabetes? I'm just saying this fat guy. How reliable is he? Who is he?
Is he a reliable narrator?
Just
like It Comes at Night, an unreliable narrator.
Dude, I still think that he was snacking on his fingers like freaking veggie straws. It's the most likable suggestion. Okay.
Holy shiz.
More like hot dog sausages, dude. More like Polish sausages, bratwurst, dude. Big thick
brats. He was having his own little brat fest.
And guys, I just want everyone listening, because this is an audio show. I am a plus-size person, so I can make fun of my people. I can fat shame all I want because I am fat. So I just wanted to make that clear to all the listeners. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Quick question.
When can we stop talking about this movie?
There's that one actress that I can't stand. It's so cringy. She has the dyed hair in the front. She's like, who are you? It's like, I might be Mother frickin' Teresa.
Yes, I wrote that quote down.
Not with that voice, okay?
Yeah, she was really annoying.
She was so annoying.
She was almost as annoying as the Chinese girl in, what was that? I don't remember which cube that was.
Her name is Jellicoe, okay?
Jellicoe.
I'm blind, Cameron, not retarded.
Yeah, that chick was so effing annoying. I'm blind, not retarded.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So funny. I also like it too, where he's like, we have a system, which is to throw a boot, and it literally fails because they throw the boot in, and the guy goes down there and he gets sliced and diced up. It didn't make any sense. I was like, why didn't the boot set that off? Yeah. He's like, we have a failsafe, and then it doesn't work. And then they keep doing
using
it. Okay, so does it work or does it not? I was very confused. I just thought it was really funny too. And then after he gets like diced, that was a great visual because again he has like all the cords around him. It's like fishnets or whatever. And he's like, and just like cuts him.
And he's like trying to yell,
falls in
"Help me!
pieces.
Help me!"
I also really liked it too because immediately after he gets sliced and diced, she's like, "I have a better idea." And she just what? Like what? I don't want to know what this idea is. What is going on, dude?
What is this?
And it was so
rated?
funny. There's a great scene too where when I love Jax. Okay, he's so funny. He comes down and he's like, oh, well, it wasn't Jax. It was actually Dodd that said this. It was Dodd, and he's like, oh, the whole system's going to crap. He's like, he's reading like the newspaper. I don't know how they're getting the newspaper, so they still know what's going on in the world, so they're not isolated. Like, I have so many questions about this, guys. And he's like, the whole country's gone to crap. Ungrateful pigs. like, what is he talking about? Like, is the news reporting on people like rioting and looting, or is the news reporting on like big government taking over your life? Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, we should be grateful and serve our overlords, or is he saying like, is the world in civil unrest and it's anarchy? Like, I have no idea what the dystopian future looks like based on what he just said. It sounds like Dad reading the newspaper. Grateful pigs. All these woke people are crazy. Like, I don't see any different. Like, what is the world they live in here? Like,
It's a world where you find your child in the woods.
Maybe it's just all jungle.
Yeah, maybe the woods just goes on forever. Like, honestly. That poor mother at the end. Oh my gosh.
It made me think of the lobster, you know, the people hiding in the forest and stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's totally the mom and the daughter.
That is so
This is a hero. He saved us.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's a great movie scene too where it's like the camera pans up. They're like in the room and it's like, who is it? It's the employee heading for the exit. And then the camera like slowly pans up from his feet all the way up and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Owen. It's like this great reveal for the two employees, Dodd and Wynn. But I'm like, why is the camera like what is this camera? Like, are they seeing from the actual filmmaker's perspective? Like the camera slowly pans up from their foot. I'm like, wouldn't they just have like a corner, like a video camera in the corner of the room or something? Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. They had a great cinematographer for the security cam footage. It's really funny. Like, very dramatic, if you will. I just thought that was really funny. Bloodied and bruised, you know, he's in the white, which I thought was really funny. So that was like a callback to the first original Cube movie. There was that room with all white, and that means they were nearly to the exit, right? Because the guy gets to the white room, but in this movie, he still dies. In Cube, when he makes it to the white room, does he actually exit into the world beyond?
Yeah, maybe they
Owen makes it into the white room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, and then he probably answered it right, and they just put him right back in it again.
Yeah, he answered. He asked, he's like, are you a Christian? And he says, yes, and then they let him go scot-free? That's ridiculous.
No, they probably just keep putting him back in the machine because he's got to go back to Cube 1.
Let me know they're making another Cube movie, please. How many are there? There's 3, right? This is the third one?
Yeah, this is the third one, but I want to direct Cube Cubed, please.
Cube Cubed, which is the 9th Cube movie, if you do your math right. Okay, so let's see here. Guys, do you want to get into two favorites? You just want to keep talking because I have so many notes. I'm like halfway through my notes, so do you guys want to take it?
I just want to talk about my top 10 actors. I'm going to fudge on this one.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to that, but I want to hear your notes though before we switch.
Okay, so again, the same exit as the fellow in number 1, right? So it is the same one. It's the white one.
We're to
I
believe
just thought that was strange.
that.
Yeah, we're to believe that, right? Because I had a few questions about that too. When they said that the cube is only
No, but they said they
4x4?
heard that there's other cubes in other places, so...
Right. So did he get out and they put that guy into someone else's cube? Are the cubes linked at all? Are they owned by different corporations? Is it all the same corporations? Is this in the same universe as the movie Circle? Because everyone's line of dialogue was just as reasonable as that movie, okay? Anyway, gosh, I love that. It's just so funny. What's your name? I think it's Owen.
The killing one? Or Circle? Or
That
Circle?
be how it comes.
Circle, yeah.
Oh my gosh! That's the greatest line of dialogue of
He
all
says
time.
what?
That bee had it coming.
Circle? Yeah, he's like, is it true you used to abuse your wife? That's big had it come. It's like, why would you lie?
Right
Why?
before everyone
Like, all
votes.
human reason.
Right before.
Gone out the window.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do about it? We're gonna vote to kill you right now. My goodness. I also really loved like, it's really funny. So he's like strung up all of a sudden. I don't know how that happened. Chains come up from
Yeah,
nowhere,
that reminded me
string
of
him up.
Hellraiser, just like all the chains
all these
grabbing him.
creepy chains,
Ah!
and he's like fully displayed. I can't even read the room. It's such a weird visual. He's like off in the distance. There's like a catwalk in front of him. Like, where is he? Like he was standing in a white room, and then there's like, it's all dark, and then there's like one lit catwalk, and then all of a sudden there's like this voice comes on, and it's Dodd, like his employee, and he's like, oh, he doesn't even remember us, like alluding to the fact that he had his brain wiped, right?
And what if he couldn't remember his name? He's like, you can't remember his name, beep, and it starts burning him.
yeah, because the first question was like, what's your name? He's like, it's Owen. He's like, thank you. Second question, do you believe in God? And he's like, instead of saying like thinking about the question for a second, he goes, believe in God. Screw you. No. And I'm like, why would you upset your captors? Like, why would that be your initial response? Also, if you don't even remember your own name, why do you have the concept of God? Like, I honestly don't understand this movie. Like, so you understand God and like his role in your life? Like, you still understand deism, but you don't understand who you are? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Like, you have short-term amnesia, but like your amnesia would have to last your entire existence. Like, how could you
maybe
forget
it's
your
kind
own
of like
name?
a Clockwork Orange where they think they've essentially brainwashed him and they're hoping they've reformed him and
good
hoping
point.
to make him somebody better. Because, I mean, that's what I feel like they did better in the
But
platform.
aren't these people even criminals? They're not criminals, are they? We don't know, right? Like, some of them were just contractors that worked on the cube. Some of them were just the guy like Owen that's like, I guess I want to leave this job, or I don't know what he wants to do. But
Okay,
orphans. Just never forget that, dude. They're freaking kids, dude. It's so funny. And then he was like, he was one of us. And he's like, no, once he's inside, he's one of them. I love that whole, he's like, Dodd is so turned off by, I love that. That was great. And then he has the conversion, which again is really weird, but because of some strange comic book character cartoons, he's like,
maybe
hey,
nobody ever
Wayne
loved
really loves me.
him like he did. And so he's like,
yeah. So I thought that was a good play on the middle class and the poor. I'm assuming that's what it was, because he's like kind of in the game. He knows what the elites are up to, but he can kind of keep his head down. And then it's the poor peons that go through the cube, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. But I'm like, that's totally backwards. If anyone knows about capitalism that has like a society like we do, like you can be on Medicaid and have all your bills paid for you. You just can't make any money. So it's like, but you could work your butt off, make enough money for a pension, and then have all your pension money pay for your expensive medical bills that now you have to pay for because you're not poor enough for Medicaid. So it's like, or I could just sit on my butt all my life and then just go on the welfare state. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, at least here in America, this movie doesn't really work. And I'm like, this film is American. Am I mistaken? So I'm like, have you guys ever been impoverished? Like, you can be on no income. You can literally be unemployed and you can be making more money than like most of the world. Like, impoverished here.
I think this was directed by a foreign director like the other ones, and I think Platform, like Snowpiercer, they're all portraying America in this. It's just like from an outsider perspective, right. So, how capitalism
works. And to be
works.
fair, maybe when you already have a corrupt government in place trying to establish capitalism, crony capitalism. I get that. Like, I do get that.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking this is an American film, and I was like, dude, I work with seniors, and most of the ones that are on Medicaid, they're living pretty high on life. Dude. They got 3 TVs and they got central control for heating and cooling throughout the year. I'm just saying, everyone has, we live like fat. We live like the golden mask people in Squid Games. Okay.
Oh no.
Asking for favors from whoever we please, because that's just America.
What else do you have on your list, Ty?
I really like the elites. They just control the levers. Like, I love that. They literally come down, like higher ups. They come down and he still answers to people, because he answers the phone and he's like, what? And then he's like, oh, yes, of course, right away. And then you're like, okay, so even Jax answers to people up above.
I liked that. Yeah.
Which I kind of liked. But
I like how he talked crap as soon as he got off the phone. He's like, you didn't hear that.
I also really liked when Wynn was in the elevator. He's like, I'm through with pushing buttons. And then he pushes the down button on the elevator. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. Like, you literally are doing the thing you're fed up with doing. But again, it's a different kind of button. I get it.
My favorite too is the two henchmen guys who have the little hand things, and they do the typing.
Oh my gosh,
They're
that
like
was
sliding
the Minority
across
Report.
the
That was the
thing.
Minority Report. He puts this like weird glove on, and then he like Freddy Krueger hands, and he like wipes up the keyboard, and the keyboard disappears, and this weird new notepad appears under it, and he's like,
Yeah, he was clearly took typing
So
class
dumb.
in middle school. Like, holy shit.
Dude,
And
yeah,
I
no,
liked
he
how
took
the
hacker
accordion music
typing
comes
class.
in.
Yeah, the music was so weird in that part. It was so,
So
funny.
random, dude. So weird. I also don't know why he would crawl into the cube willingly. Like, when if you're in the elevator, it'd be like, go up. I guess he couldn't go. I don't know. I just wouldn't have gone down.
I actually thought of you, Grant, when that scene came up. I'm like, I wonder if that's what the kind of music comes in Grant's head as you get onto code. It's like,
Yeah, I just put, this is my note. It says the guy with techno Freddy Krueger hands waves him over the keyboard and a new one appears. Like, it's insane. It's like nearly Minority Reporting all over the place, like where they're just like waving their hands around and then they look at each other, like there's two of them and they're both typing away and they're like, oh, we can't, the system's being overrun. And like, it's the weirdest thing. Jax goes up to Dot and he's like, why is the computer failing, sir? And he's like, I have no idea. And there's like literally a sparking unplugged wire that's been cut like crudely under his desk and it's like sparking. It's gonna set him on fire and it's like sparking and making noise and lighting up and he's like, I don't know why the computer's acting up. And it's like,
I know, it's like asking a child.
under his desk.
It's like asking a child, did you eat this chocolate ice cream? There's like chocolate all over his lips.
Just get him to, be like, back away from your desk and look under his desk. There's literally like sabotaged wiring under there. I just thought that was so funny that he didn't notice it or say anything. I thought that was hilarious. I also really love when he like is on the phone and he's like, order 793, blah, 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 blah. It's the weirdest line of dialogue. Like, I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, he was giving it all, like 110%.
And then the fat guy, when he gets scratched by the woman, like they approach this woman that's huddled in the corner that's like, like who does that? I would have thrown my shoe at that woman from a distance, dude. Like he goes over to her and then she rolls over and then like walks up to him and scratches him and he's like, oh, I'm fine, it's just a scratch. And like they all start freaking out, but he's like, she scratched me, so I pushed her over and murdered her. I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust this fat guy, dude. I'm just saying he is one shady mofo. Anyway, he freaking pushes her over.
You don't
she's
think
dead.
that's an appropriate response? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, why is it? It's like, dude, she scratched me, and then the best thing, the black guy, he's like, you get a scratch, he pushes her so she cracks her head. That's fair. And then he's like, the black guy immediately when she's like dying and her head's like bleeding open, he's like, you put her out of her misery. and then he says immediately after, my headache's gone. Why against the murder of an infectious woman assuages the pain in his head? It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand the correlation between his headache and the murder of this virus woman. I didn't understand that. It was ridiculous.
My favorite is the fat guy's death because it does like those sound waves and he's like, he's like screaming. His body disappears.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of blood stain, but it's like
and
he
then the
was
clothes
literally
just fall on the floor.
exploded,
Yeah.
and the clothes fall like daintily on the floor, and there's like a little bit of blood stain. I'm like, that guy literally exploded inside of his clothes. There would not be an ounce of that material that wouldn't be doused in blood. It was so ridiculous, dude. Just love it. There was like a few like blood stains.
It's like what happens in
like,
War of the Worlds when they explode and their clothes just like fall.
floats down, dude.
Well, and I wonder if they ran out of a budget or something because the military guy at the very end, he's just like, "Leap up," and like his clothes and him just disappeared. Like it just.
I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, the incineration stuff at the end.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so it turns on, and he's just like, whatever was eating her way, whatever was eating at her is now running through him. The black guy says, and he just like looks out and he goes, crap, like it's just like the weirdest thing. And he's like, and now you're gonna go into the room, and then like the first door he opens, the black guy sees an opportunity and throws him down there. And Sunshine, he's like, he like throws him down, dude. I love it. Help me! He's still alive down there. The supersonic person. That's so funny. Oh my gosh! And then, yes, when what's his face? The weirdest scene where he shows up and he goes, "No, he would have died. It's an antiviral bacterial infectious disease, highly contagious." Like. Just the terrible character introduction because we already know this guy and the way he's introducing them to these people is super weird. Like it's really weird how he goes about it. And then he's like, I saw the little girl in your dreams.
I saw your daughter in your dreams.
In your dreams. It was like the moment from Toy Story 3 when Ken tells Barbie, he's like, I'll see you tonight in my dreams. Like, he's obviously coming on to her. He obviously thinks she's super drop-dead gorgeous, but, like, she gives nothing back. Like, I don't think she likes him. But at the very end, it's revealed she's like, super hot, sexy man that sacrificed his life for me so I could get out of here. Like, it was the weirdest thing. Just like, and now I have these comic book drawings of me and him. Like, I guess he'll be forever immortalized in our memory as, like, a hero. But he's still alive in the cube as a... Like, I'm so confused. Like, anyway, very weird. Okay, he says in the movie, the nerd Win, is he wrong? Because he says the cube is no more than 5 cubes. Like, cubic, what does he say? He's like, it's no more than 5 cubes up and down or whatever. And I'm like, no. In fact, I've seen the cube on the outside in the few of those shots, the establishing shots. The cube is more than 5 by 5. It's more than 25 cubes, right?
I don't remember him saying that.
He literally says the cube is no... okay, he says there is 5 cubes in 25 rooms. He says 25 rooms. That's what he says. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, there is way more than 25 rooms. But then again, I get if you've ran in a circle. They've talked about that before.
Ty, the reason,
where they
the
like,
reason
just
that
keep
they're
circling.
not being able to do well is because they don't have the blind Asian math girl to help them out.
But, like, remember in the first one, like, again, because it's the same cube, because the guy at the end is revealed that he's in the same cube system, right? So there's a scene where the black guy lets the girl fall with the bed sheets in the first Cube movie, and she falls to her death for miles and miles. It's more than 5 cubes is my point. Anyway, whatever.
Maybe they upgraded it by the second movie.
It's now many more cubes. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they just kept growing it. Anyway, I thought it was really funny, too, when he's just like, they already know I'm here because the lights are going on, and it's like all the rooms around us are trapped. And it's like, oh, no, how are they going to get out?
I love how they have such an intricate, like...
I was just like, why wouldn't they know you're in there?
System, and they're not able to find these people. It's like, why wouldn't you have security cams in every single room?
Just each cube. Like, always have one camera angle that shows the entire room. I don't know why. It's ridiculous. And then Dot is just pulling out all these fetching wires, and then he finds Dot, and he's like, Dot, what are you doing? He's like, I'll have that. And then he eats the chip, and then he's like, And then he takes this pen, and he's like, tapping his teeth with it, and then the next scene he blasts him in the face with paralyzed dust, and I'm like, why did you have that in your mouth? You paralyzed yourself on accident. Like, it was just the dumbest thing where he like literally was tapping it inside his mouth. I'm like,
That was like the 5th Indiana Jones, wasn't it? Where the guy's ready to blow, and then Indiana Jones comes up and blows it back into his throat.
That's also like Get Smart when he's like...
Get Smart, I was thinking the same thing. Steve Carell, dude. He's okay, deep breath. He inhales really deeply and sucks the dart into the back of his throat. So funny, dude. Anyway, I love the dancing pen. It reminded me of Death Note a little bit. I don't know why. Just like very intense. Jax was so great. Like, he was clearly having a great time. I thought he was the best part of the movie. They trapped all the rooms around us. You know, they do the whole montage of destroying their shoes and everything. But there's a great scene where he's like, I can't remember what he says. He's like, right after Jax hangs up the phone, he's like, ungrateful cretins. They said our fun is over or whatever. I don't know why ungrateful cretins was such a funny word. And he also looks at everyone, Dodd and everyone else there, and he's like, you didn't hear that. Like, I don't know why that was so funny. Like, you can't badmouth the elites above him. I thought that was great. So he clearly like wants to be running the show. He can kind of have fun like Loki. I just thought that was great. Anyway, they never see their friendship develop except for the comic book drawing. That was crazy. And then he then sniffs him. Dad, it's not me, I swear. And then he sniffs him. I just love that. And then, because he's like, what's wrong? He's like, he's at his desk and he's sniffing him. I just thought that was so funny. Anyway, I'm almost done. I can't even talk about this movie anymore, guys. Your tax dollars hard at work. But I will just say...
He says that, and then he's going to talk for another 5 minutes.
The other 5 minutes, no. Haskell jumping through the hole.
But I'm making going.
Oh, yeah. Haskell jumping through the hole in the ground was hilarious. Like the black guy's hanging on the ceiling, and he drops down like freaking like Mission Impossible. And then she kicks him in the and he's like literally disabled. And I'm like, so much for having ninja assassins if you just kick him in the and they're down and out for the count. It's just so silly. Like I said, why create these deadly assassins that they never do anything deadly or awesome or any assassinating for that matter? They never assassinate a single person.
He just starts choking the girl, and then he switches back and forth between the two.
He just goes back and forth.
System overload, too many people.
Just so ridiculous. Yeah, green contact lenses don't work with direct shots taken to your. Anyway, it's just so ridiculous. Why can't we have a fire? The daughter asked the mother when they escaped. I don't know how she got reunited with her daughter. She escapes because they swam under the ocean. I don't know, or like the lake or whatever. Like, I guess that's where the exit is. I'm so confused. They get out there, and then she's reunited with her daughter, and she's like, "Why can't we have a fire, Mom?" She's like, "Because the bad men will find us." And I'm like, so they're still searching for her? Like, could she not go back? Like, how far away is she from civilization? I have no idea how far she has to go. Like, will she be able to find civilization? Like, she can't make a fire. Why are they just sitting there in Mexican blanket, like in the middle of the forest? Like, keep walking. Like, why would you take a break? I'm so confused
We're
right
gonna
now.
take a break and look at these pictures.
Yeah, we're gonna look at this comic book together. I guess she's tired. Carry your fetching daughter and get to civilization. They can still catch you. My goodness. I guess she now knows their weakness. She knows she can kick the green context lens men in the and she's scot free. They can't. It's unreliable. It's
unreliable.
Anyway, it's unreliable. Oh my gosh. And then my last question was, did the woman actually exist, or was this just a fantasy and some brain after brain surgery? This all took place in Dan's dream when he wakes up and he's like been in the queue.
This is a Shutter Island dream.
That was such cringe playing a special handicapped kid. I'm sorry. It's just so weird. And then at the end, he's like, I want to go back to this certain color room. And I'm like, the entire Cube Zero mentions color 0 times.
Yeah.
0 times. And at the end of the movie, they're like, hey, I want to go to this colored room. And I'm like, why would Wynn know anything about any colored room? Like, what is he talking about? I'm like, I obviously have seen the first Cube, so I know what they're referring to. But I'm like, the color plays no part in this Cube system.
I won't talk about my actors.
I'm so confused. Okay, anyway, whatever. Obviously referring to the original Cube, but not this one. Yikes. Guys, that's it. That's all my notes. I have so many questions. This was Cube Zero. If you guys think you like it, check it out.
Cube Zero. Zero acting, so many questions.
0 stars, 0 out of 10 on
0
IMDb
stars.
if it's possible.
10 stars, 100 questions.
Guys, a movie like this on IMDb has 5.7. You know what other movies have 5.7? Like freaking prestigious films, okay? Are we just not getting it? Or am I stupid? I think I'm just stupid. I don't know. My goodness. I'm always impressed with how highly rated these Cube movies are. But I guess so many critics can...
the problem is people
themes,
will either
right?
give
The only
it a
people who
0,
rate them are
they
people
give it a
who are willing
1
to
or a
watch them.
10. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Guys,
So
that was
when
much
every
fun.
other rating's a 1 or a 10, it averages out to 5.
Because I'm giving it a 10.
I guess like Jordan.
Guys,
And
would you
I'm giving it
recommend
the
this
1.
movie?
Absolutely
Watch it.
not.
I say watch
Watch
the
with
first
friends.
one. Or platform.
No. Oh, that's a good point. Where do you watch the first one? I don't know which Cube is the funniest. Which one? I definitely like this one
Knife
and
Guy.
the first one more than the second. The second one.
No, second one is, oh my gosh, I love the second
Wait,
one.
is the second one the knife guy? The fat guy that cannibalizes? Oh, it's the first Cube I don't like. I don't
No,
like the
you
first
like the
one.
first one. You
Wait,
complained a
which
lot
one?
about the second one.
The second one is the cannibalism, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the first one have that
I
I
don't
don't
know.
like
you,
about it?
you like the first
they're all
one. I
starting
think
to
it's-
Guys,
I don't even remember
these movies are
anything
so
from
forgettable.
20
Yeah,
minutes
they're
ago.
so forgettable. My goodness. Go watch Saw, but then Saw is a little too gory. So this is like, well, gory. This movie brings the gore. There are 3 deaths in here that are pretty gruesome. Peels the skin off his face. That was crazy. And then the guy getting
Well, it was so
string
funny
beamed.
because I watched the part where he was like licking his fingers and saying water
With the
and then like his skin just barely started like coming off, and so I paused it. I went back and I was like, "Elise, go look at this." And then it kept playing, and then like it's just like all the blood in his like face falling off. She's like, "Oh my gosh." Oh, it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Quality
that was
programming,
That
folks.
was the last movie Elise ever let Grant recommend to her.
Oh, I know, right?
Well, Grant won't be allowed to come on the podcast anymore, so I hope it was worth it. So everybody, we have a special list prepared for you all today, because we love movies so much. We have prepared a list of our top 10 actors of all time. Yeah.
And we'll start from youngest to oldest, so Cameron, go first.
Okay, so no comments till the end, or can we interject throughout? Yeah, if it's important, we'll interject.
No,
Settle
but see,
down.
but I know you guys. You can want to comment
Respectful.
on every single thing I say.
It's true. We'll be like, oh,
No.
you're so stupid.
I'm,
Poor Cameron, so naive, so dumb. Cameron, hit us off, Cameron.
Okay.
Cameron, in your honorable mention, number 11, greatest actors of all time.
I had Robin Williams, and
Robin
Good choice.
Williams.
I had his top 3 performances for me was Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting, and Mrs. Doubtfire.
You're forgetting, of course, the greatest performance.
Insomnia, Patch Adams,
Insomnia.
or Aladdin.
Yeah, which I.
Garbage bags. That's why I knew you guys would say something about that.
That's Al Pacino. It's not Ron Williams.
I know, but I knew you guys would say something about it. And then number 10, I had Jonah Hill with my top 3 performances as 21 Jump Street, The Wolf of Wall Street, and War Dogs, and then Moneyball.
Wolf of Wall Street is his best performance. I'm sorry, that is.
See,
so
I think
good.
21
Which one?
is his best
Wall Street?
performance.
Or Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, Wall Street. Yeah. He was good at Moneyball.
As far as acting goes, like.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, loved Moneyball.
No, that's why it was my 4th. And then and then number 9, I had Tom Hanks. It was hard for me to decide. It was like between Saving Private Ryan, Big, Forrest Gump, and then he's amazing in Sully, Catch Me If You Can, Turner and Hooch, and Money Pit.
Are you a Forrest Gump? Is there anyone else here that doesn't like Forrest Gump, or am I the only freak that doesn't like Forrest Gump?
Me and Jordan.
I've never
love
seen it all the way through. I only saw part of it and I didn't like it.
I don't like it, Grant. I'm with you, dude. I'm glad you're with me. The movie's dumb.
So
D-U-M.
It's okay. We'll do it without you.
And then my number 8 is, I know I'm probably going to get some heat from you guys, is Matthew McConaughey.
All right,
which
all
is
right,
actually,
all right.
actually a dark horse because I've never even had him in my top 20. But the more I thought about him, his top 3 performances for me is Interstellar, The Gentleman, Wolf of Wall Street. And he's also great in Bernie and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and even Mud.
Yes.
Well, don't forget his AIDS movie,
Oh, yeah. He's actually really good in Dallas Buyers Club.
Dallas Buyers Club.
That was really
I haven't
good.
seen it.
I mean, it's a really sad movie. It's a gay man dying of AIDS.
But he's not gay.
but he's-
Jared
Yeah, he
Leto's
is.
Jared Leto is gay. He is not.
Wait, well, I haven't seen the movie. This is why I thought he dies of AIDS. Wait, maybe Jared Leto dies of AIDS.
Jared Leto died of AIDS.
Now I have to see this movie. Jared Leto slowly dying of AIDS is like the greatest acting of our generation. I cannot wait to see
No,
it.
Matthew
I
McConaughey
thought it was
dies of
Matthew
AIDS,
McConaughey.
but he even asked the doctor. He's like, but I'm not gay. Because the doctor says you've got AIDS. And he's like, but I'm not gay.
Oh, so it's about a straight man dying of AIDS.
But also,
That's
Jared
pretty
Leto's
gay,
the
man.
gay
Jared
one.
Leto dies.
He's good.
That's pretty to die of AIDS, and you're not even, dude.
Oh, jeez.
All right,
and then,
so what else you got, Kim?
And then number 7, I have Ryan Gosling with his number 1 performance for me is Drive, and then 2 is Blade Runner 2049, and then La La Land.
Cameron.
And then he's also great in The Big Short and Remember the Titans.
He was in my top 10, and then after thinking about his performances, I'm like, I dropped him off my list because, don't get me wrong, his performance is good, but I'm thinking about his movies he's in, and I'm like,
Is it the movies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the movie, like, they give
But
him a
but-
perfect role.
Yeah, but can you make those movies without him?
Oh,
Maybe.
Yes, you put Robert Pattinson in there.
Yeah, actually,
Robert Pattinson is not doing the same thing in Drive. Not a chance. Blade Runner 2049, maybe.
I don't know. Actually, I kind of like Robert Pattinson's performances, like, in Lighthouse, and he would have made my top 10 if he just had one more performance. Because he has Good Time and Lighthouse. I'm like, oh, just one more. Because I'm not putting Twilight. I'm not putting Twilight.
Twilight
or Harry Potter.
Jordan, need I remind you of Tenet and The King?
Yeah,
what's wrong with
Tenet,
you, dude?
The
His
King.
performance in King, dude.
Oh, The King!
French game-
Oh, dang it! He could have made
See
my
now
top 10.
Jordan's like, maybe I'm gonna change my list real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to change it. You guys keep
This is why we
talking.
were going up the list, Jordan, because now you're changing your list. Look at him; he's typing it in right now. He's like, number 11 coming in, upset Robert Pattinson.
For me, number 6 was Bradley Cooper with his top performances for me.
See,
American Sniper.
that's an actor I completely
Silver
overlooked.
Linings
Yep.
Playbook, Limitless, and then he's amazing in Hangover, Guardians of the Galaxy, War Dogs, and Aloha.
Do you like Aloha? I heard terrible things about it.
I love
but Then
it.
again, I don't know anything. Yeah.
And then
It's one of those movies, right, where it's like, it's still good. Like, it's not bad, but it's just like,
Yeah.
there's nothing new to say. It's like, shut up.
yeah, it
Every
was a
movie
cute
needs to be about
rom-com.
activism.
I was like,
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
yeah.
And then for me, cutting into my top 5 is Christian Bale. For me, number 1 is the Dark Knight trilogy. I can't break that up because that's cheating. And then 2, The Prestige, and then Ford vs. Ferrari. And then he's also great in The Big Short. And
Oh
then,
my gosh, you need to see American Psycho, dude.
I know, it's on my list, but every single time I go to watch it, Jordan's like,
Well,
maybe you shouldn't watch that.
I should have caveat. You should never see that movie.
Everyone
Yeah,
says
it's
that.
bad.
They're like, you should watch
But
it.
I'm saying you should
shouldn't
see
watch
his
it.
performance.
I
Yeah,
know.
you should see his performance in American Psycho.
I know, and I'm excited to see him in, what's it called? The Scariest Man Alive on the same screen. Oh, what's his name? William Dafoe.
Are they doing a movie together?
No, he in American Psycho.
Christian Bale and William Dafoe?
American-
Wait, William Dafoe is in American Psycho?
Yeah, he is.
He's the office. He's the police
I have to
officer.
see that movie again.
He's the detective.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm thinking, are you sure you are not confusing this with the Boondock Saints?
No, he's a police officer in both of
Yeah.
those, which is awesome.
Where he yells, "There is a firefight!" Right? That was an American Psycho, right?
And then my number 4 is Matt Damon with his number one performance being Good Will Hunting for me, and then The Departed, and then Jason Bourne series, and he's also great in Ford vs. Ferrari, Saving Private Ryan, and Interstellar, which he's got a ridiculous resume.
You should totally check out The Talented Mr. Ripley. Another good one.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Of Matt Damon's.
Okay.
Oh, I've got that on my bucket list too.
Oh, dude, and The Departed, his performance there. Sorry, anyway.
That's what I said as well. That's number 2.
Oh, you said, I'm sorry, you said
Yeah,
Departed.
Departed was really, really good.
Oh my gosh. You fetching. He should pick that out, but he says it like 100 times. Go save a cat out of a tree.
And then number 2 for me is, not surprising, Brad Pitt with number 1 performance is Lieutenant Aldo Rain and Glorious. And then number 2 for me is Burn After Reading.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then,
know who your number 1 actor is.
And then 3, Fury. And then he's great in 7 and Moneyball too.
Yeah.
Moneyball, I'm for an hour and 35 minutes. And then Jake Gyllenhaal is my number 1, as I'm sure you guys suspected, with his top performances. Oh, I skipped over number 3. My number 3 is Leonardo DiCaprio, with his best performances: The Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island, The Revenant, The Departed, Inception, Django, Catch Me If You Can. Like, he's got just all masterpieces on his resume. It's ridiculous. And then Jake Gyllenhaal is my number 1 with Zodiac, Nightcrawler, Donnie Darko, Prisoners, and Enemy.
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Mwah. Very good list, Cameron. You forgot a few people. I noticed no black people on your list, Kevin. Would you like to comment on that? No women either, so I just thought
I literally thought about that too, because I was gonna put on what's his name?
Denzel?
Yeah,
Denzel.
Denzel or Will Smith.
JD?
And I was just like,
Will
can't
Smith.
do it. Because they both have, let's see, like, yeah, my honorable mention, I have an honorable mention list.
I wanted to do it, but I'm racist. My hands are tied. I wanted to do it.
I have
but
an
I
honorable
can't.
mention list where all of them have like 1 or 2 performances that I'm like, oh, amazing,
Yeah.
but like they just didn't make
Yeah.
the cut.
Training Day?
Maybe we need to do one just for women and just for black people, yeah.
Just for
And then just for Asians.
So well, let's say top favorite actors of all time. It could be any race and any gender. They all happen to be white, man. That's okay. And then we have a special list for just black actors and one for just women.
And then just Asians. I mean, come on.
Just Asians.
Just
dude.
Koreans,
Oh my gosh,
just
that
from
is so
our Korean
funny.
films. And we just choose every actor from Train to Busan and Fetching Memories of Murder and Parasite.
I love it. I love it. Well, okay.
Grant.
Guys. Oh, Grant, yeah, why don't you hit us up with your list now?
Okay. Well, honorable mention, number 11.
Number 11. No, none of this. I know how you work. You're going to be like, oh, let me list all these 17 other guys I have.
Oh, no. I'll enlist 2. Rick from Walking Dead.
No,
and
I
Nick
said
Cage.
no. Godzilla, is that your number 11? Is that what I heard?
No.
Honorable mention.
Okay,
was
fine. I'll
the Godzilla roar.
is Rick from The Walking Dead, because I have a soft spot for Walking Dead. Rick does such a good job on that show.
Well, what's his 3 performances? I'm hearing
I'm
one
sorry.
performance.
Top 2 performances is Walking Dead,
I know, exactly. That's why he's an honorable mention. He's not
It's
in
called
the top
Walking
10.
Dead Season 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 performances.
Yes, 2. Yeah, I was about to say
help
episode
you
1,
get
episode
out.
2, episode 3, episode like what?
Very diverse.
I just wanted to say that because I knew you guys would hate it.
He
so.
evolved from saying coral to coral. The evolution of Rick throughout this series.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay. All right. Number 10, I have Steve Carell from Office, Get Smart, and Dan in Real
Corral?
Life.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, whatever.
The Golden Corral.
Steve Carell, dude. I love that you threw him in there, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad you put
Yeah.
him in.
What were your performances? The Office and what?
Get Smart, Dan in Real Life.
Damn, Real Life is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. That was a
Yeah.
great movie. I
He's
love that
really
one.
good. And then number 9, I have Robert Pattinson, got Harry Potter, The King, Good Times.
Wait, his performance as Cedric Diggory takes the cake for you?
Well, no. Well, that's not necessarily in order. If it's in order,
supposed to be in
Tenet
order.
is number 1 for me. Tenet is definitely number
Sorry,
1
it's
for
fine.
me. And then probably
Good Times.
Batman, when it comes out eventually. Probably be my
Just
top.
preemptively, I'm going to assume the movies that my actors in are the best performances.
I think so, yes.
Love it. Expect more from your actors, folks.
Yes. So,
it.
and then number 8, I got Carl Urban, my boy Butch from The Boys. Butch from The Boys.
Oh, he's really good at saying the C word. Yeah.
The word doesn't mean anything to me. I grew up never hearing the word, and I hear it as an adult. I'm like, that's silly. That's the biggest, baddest word. Like, really? I still think the F words hold some power, but I hear it everywhere now. In every single podcast, it just permeates everything. But yeah, the C word, I'm like, whatever. I don't know. Do you guys feel it? Like when I hear it, I'm like, it doesn't hit me. I laugh.
This lady I work with, Ty, she's like, I want to leave my husband because he said it to me, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
But it never hit me. But he did call me the C word. Jeez, are you kidding me? What the freak?
Grant,
dude?
what are his top
You work
3
with some
performances
messed up
for,
people, dude.
for Butch?
He's in.
No, I want to know his top 3 performances. I don't give a fuck.
Star Trek, and he's in Red.
Did you understand what this is?
Yes, and he's in Lord of the Rings and
Hey,
Thor Ragnarok.
Cameron, this is fine.
His
This is
performance
fine. I
in Star
love
Trek
it.
Hey,
was
this is
good.
my favorite people,
Yeah.
and it's me.
Oh, he
for
was
me,
great,
it's just
Star
the boys who it takes the cake. I don't care.
Dude, I know. Grant, on one of my lists, it's one movie that just propelled. Yeah.
What?
It
I
really
would have
does.
picked some other actors because they have like
Yeah,
one
it's-
performance.
yeah,
And I was
exactly.
waiting for 3.
That's not how it works, dude.
That's
like
what
Cillian
I'm
Murphy.
doing.
I'm
It's
not
just my
saying that
list.
Wait till I get to the actor and you guys can give me shiz, okay?
If I could do
Jackman
15, then I would pick other people. So, just saying.
Well, just be like Cameron, he has 25 in his top 10, so.
And then I got number 7. I got John Krasinski in Quiet Place, 13 Hours. And
Grant's
The
list is
Office.
blowing my mind right now, dude. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is blowing my mind as well.
You're like one of 10 people on the planet Earth that knows him as John Krasinski and not Jim Halpert from The Office.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, I don't know.
It's
After
crazy to
Quiet
me.
Place, everyone does say it's directed by Jim.
It's directed
It's
by-
Jim Krasinski. Jim Krasinski, yeah.
That's funny. And then number 6, I got Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Can't you say yeah?
My
Oh my God.
absolute favorite performance by him is in
12
Burn
Monkeys?
After Reading.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
so freaking funny,
Yes.
dude.
Second best performance,
Dude.
but self-fetch and amazing.
I can't believe he didn't give me the money. So
And then
funny,
his
dude.
face right before he gets shot.
His smile.
Coming out
does
of the
that.
closet.
Like he's coming on stage.
So good. Dude.
And he's super good in Fury. And Glorious such good performance in that one. Big Short, World War Z. And then number 5, I got J.K. Simmons. I got J. Jonah Jameson's.
You're right, though. Just real quick, Brad Pitt. No one drinks a Pepsi like Brad Pitt in World War Z. Just saying,
Right?
dude.
I know.
Holy cow! Just had to throw that out there. J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. I freaking love this man. Like after
Whiplash.
that's probably my favorite movie that he's in. And then just like
So
classic Spider-Man, J. Jonah Jameson.
I will demolish you.
The
I can still
voice
see you,
of
Mini-Me.
The voice in Invincible. Oh, it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
he just
of
has such an
Omni-Man, yeah,
iconic
of
voice,
Omni-Man,
and it's
yeah.
so good.
Mark.
Now you just have to watch the TV show Oz, Grant, where he just.
Yeah, I'll pass.
There's something about bald men. He scares me. He reminds me way too much of Dad, dude.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's funny. There was a bald ref at one of my basketball games, and I said some bald men take marriage counseling, other become refs, and just take all their anger on the 19-year-old boy.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
And then number 4 for me is Jim Caviezel.
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 Caviezel. Weasel.
Grant's like,
Jim Weasel.
Jim Weasel. Grant doesn't know how to properly say their name. He's like, yeah, but I think they're my favorite actor of all time. Whatever that guy's name is, he's my favorite. I love you, Grant, so much,
Yes.
dude. You're so great. What is he in? Who is Jim Caviezel? I don't even know.
Person of Interest,
He's
Count of Monte
Count of Monte
Cristo,
Cristo.
Oh, Caviezel. Yeah.
Frequency, and he also plays
Yeah.
Passion of Christ. I haven't seen that movie, but I want to. So
That's my 4th favorite performance of him.
I
though.
just know he was struck by lightning while hanging up on the cross, which made me laugh because people were like, "Oh, it's sacrilege." God is unhappy with his performance. He's like, I guess God doesn't think Jim Caviezel's a good actor. I don't know. No idea why he was struck by lightning, but it's crazy.
yeah, he's just such a good actor. And then
Well, I have one idea why he was struck by lightning. He was hoisted up on a cross. Sorry, it's not funny, but it's a little funny. Could you imagine portraying Jesus and then you get zapped by lightning and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't cause me to question it. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Poor guy. Poor guy.
That's like Noah level with Russell Crowe. If he's not in your top 10,
Somewhere
Grant.
along the line someone should have been like, no, don't. What are you doing?
Stop.
This is not Noah that we know to love. Yeah, oh my God. The rock giants.
I don't remember this part of the Bible. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Okay, so number 3, I have Tom Hardy. Best performance, Mad Max, and then I'd say closely tied, if not
His grunting.
And then closely tied is Bane in Dark Knight Rises. So good.
Yes, I would agree.
in charge.
Yes.
And
You
then
think I'm number 3 on your top list?
I didn't see the light of day till I was a man. And by then it was blinding.
Dude, he transcended and became a meme. That is a good actor. One that can transcend and become a meme.
Oh,
dude.
I can't wait to hear Jordan's top 10. He's got lots of those guys.
Yeah, we all think we know who's there.
and I actually really like him in Venom a lot. Like, I enjoyed Venom a lot.
Just don't watch Carnage.
So that's why I'm really sad that the second one kind of sucks. But and then my number 2 is Timothée Chalamet.
Okay.
Timothy Chalamet, yeah.
Yes.
Really? Did you love him so much in Dune?
Dune, The King, and the only third one I thought it was Interstellar.
He plays the forgotten kid. He's even in the movie.
He's the kid who takes over.
Just say Little Women or the movie where he's or Arnie
Yeah,
Hammer's
I
the
guess.
Call Me By Your Name or something. That's
so
hilarious
funny,
that you're
man.
like, I'll give it to him in Interstellar. The unforgettable performance for Timothy Chalamet is the forgotten child.
That would be like saying my favorite Casey Affleck performance is Interstellar when he's like, Dad, you left me for 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just shed a
Interstellar.
tear.
Threw in Interstellar for Timothy Chalamet. I'm like, wait, what? Oh yeah, he's in that movie.
He was in that movie. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's the top 2.
He definitely
movies. Oh my gosh,
outshadowed
top 2.
Matthew McConaughey. You're right. He stole the show.
Oh,
I
my
was
word,
wrong
yes.
with having
Oh,
told
yeah,
the
so
show.
way better.
No, but see, Grant sees him and he gets excited because he thinks about he's an upcoming actor. Yeah, he's
Yes. I
Love
love
it.
him as an actor.
good. Love it.
Number 1 for me is definitely Jake Gyllenhaal. Just like the number 1
yeah.
actor I know that just
Wow.
goes all in. Like End of Watch, because I know Cameron's already mentioned other ones, but other ones that I love is End of Watch, The Guilty. He's so good in that one. And then Source Code is another good one. He's in.
Don't forget Prince of
He
Persia,
just, like-
baby.
The pivotal role of the
yeah.
decade. Yes.
Wildlife is
Oh.
also fantastic by him. He's not in it a whole ton though. The kid actor.
In what?
Wildlife.
I do need to see that
Yeah,
movie still.
that's a
It's
really
driving
good
me crazy.
one.
I have not seen that. Yeah.
Really, really good. Directed by I forgot
Christopher
his name.
Nolan.
No, Dan Doe. What's his name?
What?
Do you not know your top actor of all
No,
time?
no, 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 no,
Doe?
no. The
Danny Doe.
the director.
Dan
of
Dirty Doe.
Wildlife.
What?
Are you referring to Paul Dano?
Paul Dano. That's who I was. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. Anyways, yes. So that is my top 10.
Wait, Paul Dano's number 1?
No.
Paul Dano directed Wildlife.
He just mentioned Wildlife, and I was like, yeah, it's so good because it was directed by Paul Dano. Anyways, yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Wow, Grant, I gotta say, Jake Gyllenhaal, number 1. Your list blew me away.
Yeah,
I'm very
I was
interested.
not expecting all
I
those
was
things.
not expecting any of those picks.
A bunch of
I
dark
had a lot
horses.
of-
We'll say that.
Yeah,
Like
mixing
fetching
around.
Rick from Walking Dead. With the
For sure.
And Nick
for
Cage
sure.
is up there.
And Timothy Chalamet's performance coming in from Interstellar, dude. There was so much more to that movie than I thought I gave it credit
yeah,
for.
they're
dude.
deleted
Coming from
scenes that you've
Timothy.
seen that I haven't. Like,
Doesn't he say like, "Dad, there's a drone" or something? I think he says that, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, something.
All right,
I
Ty.
love it. All right, guys, crack my knuckles. Here we go. Here we go. Cameron, I'm really glad you mentioned Tom Hanks because he got kicked to my 11 just before today, actually, by none other than Viggo Mortensen is my honorable mention. I think Viggo Mortensen is such a delight. I loved.
I'm so glad you
I put-
mentioned him. He was in my top 10, but I was so sad
Really?
because there's too
Yeah.
many other people.
He was in my 11. I had to kick him out because I loved, the movie The Road is the most punishing movie. I'll never watch it again, but I'll never forget
But his
his
performance
in
is
that.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and so I put that at the bottom. Just
I'm
because
actually
I can't
kind
watch that
of
movie ever again.
upset then that you haven't seen Eastern Promises because it's one of his best performances.
I need to see that. Yeah, you're right. I do need to see it. And then obviously History of Violence is all good and stuff. But the 3 movies, is for The Road, and then it would be
Lord of the Rings?
no, and
Captain
that's
Fantastic.
number 1, dude. Captain Fantastic is number 2,
yeah.
and then Lord of the Rings. I think that those movies are anyway. Just had to give a shout out to Viggo. So he kicked Tom Hanks, who's just beneath him, Cameron. So I'm glad you mentioned Tom Hanks because freaking Tom Hanks is like, what is? Isn't he like America? Someone told me he's like the nice guy or whatever of America or something. He's America's sweetheart, I think is what they call him.
Have you seen Green Book? Is he any good in that?
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's a white saviorism movie. Now I want to
So
see
count
it
me
less. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't even care about these movies, and now
But it's directed by the Farley brothers.
I don't know what that means.
Guys that made Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, I just remember hearing, like, they fabricated the story to make it a little bit more, like, preachy or whatever. Anyway, whatever. Who cares? I don't really care. It didn't really pique my interest. I love the two actors in it, though. I really do. So maybe I'll see it someday, but it's like, out of all the movies that are pressing on my mind, it's very down the list. So my number 10 coming in is Michael Keaton.
Yeah, solid.
Michael Keaton, baby. Okay, we've got Beetlejuice. Grew up watching that. And then his Spider-Man performances as the Vulture was so good. I'm not kidding. It brings a level of intensity, but it is pushed away from the other guys. So it's actually Beetlejuice, the other guys, and my number one is The Founder. If you guys have not seen this
So
movie,
good.
Sam McDonald,
See, Ty,
it's one of the best
Mr.
subtle
So
performances.
For me, Mr.
So
Mom and
good.
Multiplicity would be 2 and 3.
Oh, those are good.
Those are so good, Cameron. I just
Oh, no,
threw
Ty,
Beetlejuice because
his
it's so iconic. And I grew up,
performance
all the movies.
Birdman.
Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado About Nothing's great.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he's amazing. Michael Keaton brings so much level of intensity. Just to give a joke, like one of my favorite scenes and the funniest. I explain it and it's not funny, which is why I love explaining it.
Other
At the end
Guys?
of The Other Guys, when Will Ferrell's dying, he's like, "We're losing him. He's dying." He gets so intense, and it makes me laugh so hard. And then he's always quoting lyrics from the band TLC, and he's like, "You can't go around chasing waterfalls." He's like, "There you go again, Captain." He's like, "That's TLC." He's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Like, it's so good. Michael Keaton, dude. He hits my funny bone. He was so good as Batman. Anyway, so there's so many
No, I
performances.
love when he was whispering, Ty, in the fight. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
What are you guys doing? It's funny about the next big hot shot. Yeah, he's like whisper yelling. It is the only. It's so good. That's
And
Michael
they'll
Keaton that I
stop
love,
and
yes.
turn and like wave to when the people walk by. I'm like, what is going on?
I'm working 2 jobs so I can put my son to figure out while I was trying to figure out
So good, dude.
amazing.
I love him, dude.
I love him.
Yeah, so Michael Keaton, dude, he takes the cake. He's
Yeah,
just
he's
so
so
good.
ruthless in Founder. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
No,
The Founder
he's
is just
soulless,
such a
dude.
good performance. It is such an overlooked movie. I cannot stress it enough. Watch The Founder.
Hidden
It's so
gem.
good. And of course, Birdman is good. All that stuff. But yeah, those movies really do it for me. Number 9 is Brad Pitt. Oh my gosh, guys. So it's funny enough. I had actually put Ad Astra, but it's like tied with Moneyball. It's so subtle, but I think Jonah Hill is better than Brad Pitt in Moneyball. That sounds mean to say, but I still love the performance. But yeah, so it goes Ad Astra, and then it goes Tyler Durden from Fight Club. I don't know why I watched that movie for the first time. I loved it, like in college. Of course, who didn't watch that movie and loved it? And like, I wanted to be him. I literally had a cousin that I wanted to be like him. I thought Corey was so much like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he is. Holy
And then
shiz.
the number one performance is Burn After Reading. It is the best Brad Pitt performance
Yeah.
of all time. Rivaled with Snatch. Snatch is really good.
No, it's not
but
as good as
honestly,
Glorious. Dude, you're high, but it is.
That's a good one too. It actually gives a run for my money with Fight Club. But anyway, it's
Italian.
I did.
So Burn After Reading is the number one performance from Brad Pitt. My number 8 is Will Smith. Get some representation, folks. Will Smith, dude. I put Men in Black, Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, that was the reason it almost made it.
And Hitch. I think Hitch is the greatest chick flick of all time. I think it's so funny. Will Smith is so charming. But this is the Fresh Prince. He's done Ali. He's done iRobot. He was an action icon for me for the longest time growing up in 2000s and the 90s. I thought Will Smith was the coolest guy. He had it all. I wanted to be just like him.
But see, Kevin James almost steals the show from him in Hitch. Borderline. That's what's.
Oh my gosh, how dare you say that? They work in tandem.
Yeah,
he
they
doesn't
do
steal
work
the
really
show
well.
from him. Yeah. But no, you're right though.
Every
Kevin
time
James.
he's on the
I remember thinking
screen,
Kevin James was the funniest thing about that movie,
Yeah.
but you're like, watch it again, dude. Will Smith is.
Oh, he's
batting.
amazing. Yeah, I watched it like a
Home
couple weeks
run.
ago.
So my number 7 is Robert Pattinson. Now, in my performances, I had put.
Harry Potter number 1.
So let's see. In my order, Okay, so my order. So I had
Twilight.
Tenet, and I had to mention King Grant, and I mentioned it when you brought him up earlier, or Jordan. You mentioned Robert Pattinson. He hasn't done enough. Like, so Tenet, the King is such a small performance, but I was like, dude, this guy is going there. Like, he is going places. He's like my James.
He stole the
Dean.
scene, though.
Yes, he is like my new James Dean. I am latching onto Robert Pattinson. I will go see any film he's in. I don't care how artsy it is. I don't care If it's no good, I will go see his performance. Tenet, the Lighthouse, and Good Time is just unbelievable. I think his performance in Good Time is one of the best things.
I forget it's him
decade.
in Good Time. I forget it's him.
Yeah. Dude, you want to talk about forgetting actors? I'm so excited to get into my further list. So number 6 on my list is Matt Damon, which I thought it was cool that you mentioned some of the movies that I haven't seen. I've actually never fully seen Good Will Hunting, Cameron, so he's actually not on there.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's a good movie, and I've seen parts of it, and I've had it
farts while
dissected.
she
I even
sleeps.
started a few times.
That is one of the most beautiful scenes ever.
Without context, that sounds really ridiculous, Cameron. But yeah, I know it's a pivotal emotional scene of the movie that Robin Williams candidly said that wasn't in the script. See, I already know most of the things about the movie. Anyway, that's why it's hard for me to watch it, because I'm like, I already know why it's important, and I know that everyone expects this life from him, and he doesn't want to take it. See, I already know it all. I know it all. So with Matt Damon, The Martian, he steals the show. He's so the pivotal character and a small scene in Saving Private Ryan. I loved his cameo.
Best comedy I've ever seen in my life.
I can't tell you. Martian. I thought you were saying Saving Private Ryan because he famously made up that story or on the spot or whatever. But technically, it probably did happen in his real life. So very interested about that. And then number 1 was it was so hard to choose between The Departed, but it was The Talented Mr. Ripley. I think it's one of Matt Damon's best performances. It's a great movie. You guys need to see it. That was really fun to put Matt Damon on my list. And number 5, we've got Christian Bale. The Dark Knight trilogy, like Cameron said, and The Prestige was so good. And then I'll even overlook the fact that he ruined Terminator Salvation and yelled at all those people on set because of American Psycho. I don't like the movie American Psycho. I know that sounds so weird that I'm saying this, but it's his best performance.
His performance is unbelievable.
I watch scenes from American Psycho all the time. I go to YouTube and just look up just scenes from American Psycho, and they're unbelievable. Like specifically the phone call. It is this crazy scene where he gets on the phone and he's talking to his lawyer. At least he thinks he is. Guys, the movie is so weird.
Did you know they filmed it every single scene with William Dafoe in 3 different ways, where he knew he was the killer, one that he suspected that he was the killer, and one that he had no idea. And then he
I love this movie more and more now.
He interspliced it so he didn't tell. So the entire movie, it throws you off because you're like, I don't understand if he knows.
Dude, just look up. You don't need context. You know how Cameron's always showing Grant. You and guys are always showing each other no context. Like Mandy, Nick Cage yelling in his bathroom in his underwear, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on. It's like his wife just died, and he's gonna go get
drowning love.
Yeah, and you're just like, cool, whatever. I don't know what. Just look up Christian Bale phone interview scene or phone call in American Psycho. It is the craziest manic acting I've ever seen. Like it rivals Joker, which is so weird I'm saying this. It rivals Heath Ledger's Joker. And again, I know that sounds weird, but when you watch it.
And the craziest thing is to prepare for the role, he watched Tom Cruise's interview on Saturday Night Live. No,
I love it because that's literally his performance. It's a manic it's a manic celebrity that's wrapped up in this crazy capitalism game. It's a crazy movie. Anyway, I just can't gush enough about that enough. But just to mention his amazing feats as a chameleon. He has gained weight to become Batman, beefy, strong Batman, and he's lost weight in The Machinist and The Wrestler. He dangerously came close to dying because he's lost so much weight. It's unnerving.
And then he gained it again in Vice.
And then he gained it again in Vice to be fat in American Hustle. It's called a fat suit, okay? But anyway, love you to death, man. Just take care of yourself. Don't die, all right? Yeah. You're going to go too young if that's the case. Number 4, Ryan Gosling.
And him on the set.
Well, get it right, you stupid piece of...
he just goes.
Yeah, he's just yelling. Yeah, I was like, I'm willing to overlook that he ruined Terminator Salvation. It wasn't necessarily only his fault, but it was really funny that he's yelling at people. He's just staying in character, guys. He's a method actor. All right, give him some room. He's a peacock. You gotta let him fly. Okay, so number 4 is Ryan Gosling, guys. You guys said all the wrong movies. Okay. The best performances are...
Oh, no, Lars and the Real Girl.
First Man. Oh. That's a great one, but it actually doesn't make the list. I love that movie, guys. Can't stress this enough. But First Man, where he plays Neil Armstrong, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The second one is The Nice Guys. His performance in that was so funny. Guys, funny. I didn't think Ryan Gosling was a comedic actor. Watch The Nice Guys. Watch it edited. It is so funny. So funny. And number 1 is The Big Short, where he plays Jared, and he's only in the movie for 7 minutes or something like that. And he's the funniest person in that movie.
Easily.
That's his
best performance.
Monologues all the time. I go back and watch the scene where he talks to Steve Carell and presents this idea of the housing market crash. And then the other scene where he's in the bathroom. It's a 2-minute scene, and he calls Steve Carell, and he's like, I'm Jack to the tits. It is so good. Ryan Gosling is so good. Love it. Number 3 is Leonardo DiCaprio. I know I'm lame. I think he's a great actor. I love his Departed, William Costigan. Bill Costigan is such a good performance. It's manic. He's crazy.
You two-faced.
He's unhinged. I think that's Damon that says that all the time. Although maybe he does say it. Does he say it?
He does say it,
No.
and he punches him.
Yes, dude. Yeah,
No,
he says everything.
It's Leo. He says, "Give me back my identity, you two-faced."
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what he says. That's right. Give me back my identity. Dude, that movie's so crazy. We got to read that. I'm like, my blood's pumping just thinking about it. Okay, and then number 2, Wolf of Wall Street is Jordan Belfort. Holy cow! Like, I look up monologues from Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm not leaving.
Of just him talking. If you if you're a loser and you're overweight and your wife wants to leave you, pick up the phone and start dialing. If you're behind on your rent, good, pick up the phone and start dialing. And he's just like, you either pick up the phone until someone buys or fetching dies. It's so good.
Then he screams at the camera.
So good,
Dude, the
It's
best
so
thing
good.
ever is that when
Yells his way to the Oscar. You know, a
when he
nomination.
fetching punches his wife, dude.
Except
that
he didn't
scene.
get nominated, which he should have.
You know, he got nominated, but he didn't win. He got
Oh, okay,
nominated.
good. Thank goodness.
Well, he's been nominated so many times. He finally won for Remnant, which was kind of just like, hey, here you go,
He
man.
should have won for
Literally-
Jordan
he literally had
or-
to crawl himself away, crawl to an Oscar eating raw fish.
Inception,
to
he probably
get it.
could have won it too.
What do I have to do? I have to get salmonella to win an Oscar. My goodness, poor Leo. And then number 1 performance is Calvin Candy in Django Unchained. He plays the best villain of all time.
Ty
Oh my
always
gosh,
yells,
so good.
"Where's my freaking sister?"
Where's my sister? Where's my beautiful sister? Yeah, he's so good. He's so freaking good. No, Calvin. I know that's Samuel L. Jackson, but his performance in that movie. Gentlemen,
Nah.
I was curious, but what does he say? It's like, I was.
One of the most satisfying deaths when he just fetching pulls out the handgun.
Dude, eats it, dude. Yeah, the little wimpy pistol right into his flower, dude. Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. Or maybe it's backwards. I can't remember. It's you have my attention. Now you have oh, yeah. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. It's so good, dude. He's a rather rambunctious fellow, isn't he? So good. Anyway, number 2, Jake Gyllenhaal. And guys, okay, so this is funny. When I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, thank goodness he does have 3 good performances. But I'm like, he's only got my 3 good performances for me. Isn't that weird? Like I like the movies he's in. So I love Zodiac, where he's the Boy Scout Robert Graysmith, investigative journal, or he's just a cartoonist or whatever. Love that. Prisoners, Detective Loki, and of course Nightcrawler. It's the greatest performance of all time as far as Jake Gyllenhaal's concerned. And I think of like the decade, I think it's one of the greatest performances. So the fact that it's so overlooked is why I love it. Like, there needs to come a cult following from Nightcrawler. We need a sequel to this movie. I want a whole universe, a TV show, Netflix spin-off series. And my number 1 actor of all time is Gary Oldman. Guys, if you don't know anything about this actor, you may not even recognize who he is, okay?
Yeah.
Like, he's Commissioner Gordon from Batman. He's Sirius Black. I forget that he's Sirius Black, okay?
Yeah.
So he does a performance in True Romance where he's like a dreadlocks.
Yes! I'm so glad you mentioned
wearing
that.
freak with a glass eye, and he's in the movie for like 8 minutes, but it is unbelievable.
He's
You're like, that's Gary Oldman?
also amazing in isn't he in what's it called?
Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional, yeah.
Yeah, okay, guys, don't spoil it. That is my number 1 performance. Leon the Professional, he plays a dirty cop, and it is my favorite action film, and remember how I always say the protagonist is only as good as the antagonist? It is the best action film of all time, I think I would be fair to say. I think Leon the Professional is my favorite action film. And it rivals John Wick, because John Wick is good now, but like Leon the Professional is doing so many things, and it is because of freaking Gary Oldman's performance.
Ty just likes
he is
that
so mad.
relationship between the guy and Natalie Portman.
Hey man, hey. It's completely
Sicko.
innocent.
Bet you like that, sicko.
Yeah, no. It's completely So the 3 performances though were I actually had. It was a toss-up between True Romance and the Russian villain from Air Force One. He plays like the Russian terrorists. Amazing. That's Gary Oldman. And then he's played like the fat guy, Winston Churchill, fat guy suit actor Oscar thing. That doesn't even make the list. So it's True Romance, and then the Commissioner Gordon and the Batman. Like the scene where he's like literally with Bruce Wayne. He's like, "It's okay, kid." He puts a blanket on him. I cry every time. I don't know why. He's like,
It's not a blanket. It's his father's jacket.
sorry, that's sad. I thought you were going to say father's ashes. He covers him in his father's ashes. It's going to be okay, kid. It's okay, Bruce. Just sprinkles ashes on him. Gosh, I'm getting off hand. See, I almost started to cry. Like, okay, so Gary Oldman has made me cry in movies more times, and in movies that are so small. Watch the Sirius Black, obviously, the most devastating death in Harry Potter.
I did
of all
not know
movies.
that was him.
That's scary, right? He's Sirius Black in Harry Potter. You don't even know it's Gary Oldman. He disappears into a role, and that's what's so remarkable about him. You mentioned earlier about an actor that disappears. Gary Oldman is like sneaks into a film. He steals my heartstrings. The other performance that's not in here, but that made me cry, was the ape movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Gary Oldman gets an iPad, and he finally gets power working to the city again, and it comes on, and he looks at a photo of his kids, and you don't know anything. He just looks at it, and he just starts crying, and he grasps the iPad. He can't look at it. It is so emotional, and he's doing so much. And it's like, this is like a silly movie about apes, and I like cry thinking about this performance. It is so good. Look up the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, his performance in that. But yeah, the number one is his crazy manic performance in Leon the Professional. It is so good. Check it out. So anyway, and he's done everything. He's done it all. He's bless the guy. He's an English actor, and he once said in an interview, he goes, "I have a language coach that helped me teach me my actual accent once more to me again, because he speaks Russian. He's done Russian, he's done French, he's done like every single possible accent ever, and he's like, I don't even remember what my
I wonder if he ever
is.
Comes home and he forgets who he is, and he just starts yelling at his wife in another language. He's
like,
like,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, he's like, I thought I was still in that band Sting again, you know, or I thought I was Lee Harvey Oswald murdering
he like
JFK.
smacks his wife because he thinks he's the villain from what's it called?
So anyway, Gary Oldman, he is just one of the most incredible actors of all time. I love you, man. He would be the one actor on my list that I would love to meet. No offense to all the other ones. I would just love to meet Gary Oldman and just feel like, thank you for. He has the heart. He is the heart.
Tommy Wiseau didn't make your list, Ty.
What's that?
Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau made the list?
No, I said I noticed he didn't make your list.
Oh, you didn't make my... Yeah, I just made it under Tom Hanks, actually.
It was Tommy Wiseau, and then it was, what's his name?
And then after real quick, once we end, I would love to hear the ones you guys kicked around, because I have a list of all the other actors that were bumped, but we'll go into the list, and then we'll do that. But Jordan, how about you, man? You hit us up with your top 10.
Yeah, so I had to change a few because you knuckleheads kept like changing the rules on me. I thought it was
you should've gone first.
So did you mean you just changed it from tonight, like while we were doing the podcast?
Yes, because you guys said you're like, oh, it just had to be one performance. So I'm like, okay,
I never said that.
I never said
what I said was.
My thing was I had a list of like 15 people, and I was listing 3 movies, and some of them had much more solid movies, but I was like, I like this actor better than these.
Okay,
that's what I was doing.
Well, because I think Jack Nicholson in The Shining is the best performance I've ever seen in my life. But that is that.
It is the most terrifying performance. But Jordan, Jack Nicholson was in my honorable mentions for sure, or in my list. I kicked him around for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I only had 2 for him. I had that and The Departed, and I started.
The Departed is so bad.
I know, but I started the not One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I watched that one, but I didn't really love that one. But
his performance in Joker, Batman was good.
Yeah, that's true. But I was thinking of the one that everybody keeps talking about is Chinatown. I started that one. I haven't finished it.
Dude, Chinatown's good.
Yeah,
it's a good movie, but yeah, that's a great one.
Anyways, okay, so starting off at number 11, I've got Jim Carrey.
Oh my gosh! Of course, you have Jim Carrey.
Just because, I mean, obviously it's more of a childhood thing. A lot of these are like. This is my favorite top 10. This isn't who I think perhaps is the greatest of all time, but just...
I stand by my list. No,
I think their performances are unbelievable, and I'm going to give you their best performances. I think The Truman Show is unbelievably good, and
oh my gosh.
It's when a comedic actor can like really show both his dramatic side and also he knows comedic timing perfectly. So anyway, so Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is next. Well, Truman Show number 1, Eternal Sunshine, Spotless Mind number 2, and I will say Dumb and Dumber, which I think it kind of entails all his comedy. But the reason I chose Dumb and Dumber is because of the scene where he's getting emotional. He's talking to, what's his name, Daniel?
Yeah, the opening scene in the apartment, right?
Yeah, and he gets emotional.
I'm sick and tired of being nobody.
Yeah, like that scene, I'm like, you just set yourself apart from like being simply a comedic actor. Like, I love it. Anyways, and
it was
then
Jeff Daniels that he acts opposite.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, thank you.
Yeah,
and that's obviously, we grew up watching a lot of movies like Ace Ventura, and I love Liar Liar, all his other movies.
Yes, sorry.
I do need to see Man on the Moon because I know he gets lost in that role. Okay, so he was at number 10, but I bumped him down because you guys reminded me that Robert Pattinson had The King, so I got 3 performances.
Unbelievable! Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Number 1 is Good Time. I think it's his best performance of all time. I think it's unbelievable, and I like Ty said, I can't wait to see more of his roles because The Lighthouse is so amazing. He gets so lost in these characters. And then The King, I just think he is such a great Frenchie. Like, he's so funny. It's just every time I hear the tiny.
You got
so funny.
Wait, you didn't even think of Tenet, dude.
And Tenet, dude, he's charming in Tenet.
It was all right, but that wasn't my favorite performance of him. Number 9,
Not as
and
good
you
as
guys,
Harry
I
Potter,
know.
Cedric Diggory.
This is some of my favorite films. I know a lot of people are...
Who is this?
Whatever. So number 9 is Adam Sandler. So Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, and The Meyerowitz Stories, I think are unbelievable films. And I think he was snubbed from not getting nominated for at least Uncut Gems, because those are 3 unbelievably good movies. And I think his performance is unbelievable.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's funny because you mentioned the 3 movies that I don't think most people that know what Adam Sandler is all about or who he is.
Yeah, because I mean, Happy Gilmore, all his other goofy movies, like they're fun.
Right.
Like I love the golfing one, but I don't know. Those are so. I mean, when he. And the thing is, too, people know how to use them. That's why Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, and The Meyerowitz Stories are so good, is because they know what his strengths are, and so they use that to their advantage.
Just being a sleazy con man.
Which he is in real life after making the movie Jack and Jill, you know what I'm talking about. Watch the Red Letter Media's video about dissecting that movie, and it's like, I actually learned about the really sad reality of making movies contractually, being obligated to make a movie and just half it. It's so sad.
Number 8, I wanted to do Bruce Campbell, but I couldn't.
Yes.
But I used actually Kurt Russell. So Kurt Russell is number 8. Big Trouble in Little China. Death Proof is my favorite of his performances. Yeah. And then Tombstone. Yes, and Tombstone is my second favorite of his performances. He plays an amazing cowboy, which is why Bone Tomahawk is amazing. I think they should keep using him as a cowboy.
Did you like Tombstone more than his performance in Bone Tomahawk?
Probably, yeah. Wyatt Earp.
Really? I didn't even know if you'd seen the.
Yeah, that made my top 100 movies. Tombstone is amazing.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, your boys might get me in a rush, not before I can make your head into a canoe.
I don't.
Turn your head into a canoe.
The concave. Yes. I don't love that he's unfaithful to his wife. I don't love that, but I do love his performance. Unbelievable.
He's a complex character, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, jeez. And then obviously the thing he's an amazing, like, just his facial expressions like make me believe that he's seeing that monster. So unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, The Thing, dude.
Okay, so
you gotta be fetching kidding.
Okay, so as far as acting goes, I personally love when people go crazy out there. So personally, Al Pacino is number 7.
Oh my god,
I love him.
Wrapped up in garbage.
Okay, so that is my second of my favorite performances, but my first is actually Heat. I think he is unbelievable. It is like, she's got a great and you got your head away up it. Unbelievable.
Wow. Okay.
And then actually third is so I do love. I mean, I haven't actually finished Godfather, so I need to. But I love.
Oh my gosh.
I know. But I do love him in The Devil's Advocate, and I know this is controversy, but he is so funny. He is crazy in that movie. Like he plays Satan, and he is insane. Like he's got those big eyes, and he
goes full Nicolas Cage. Yes.
Yeah. And then the 6 is Robert De Niro. He gets so lost.
Italian representation here, man.
Dude, he gets so lost in his roles of Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and Cape Fear. Like, he is...
Thank you for mentioning Raging Bull. It is one of the best.
Dude, he's amazing as the father in Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, yeah. I do love him in his... Oh, thank you for pointing that out. I do love him in his later films as well. But yeah, his earlier roles, though, he gets lost in his characters.
Scorsese, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I don't think enough comedians get mentioned, so I want to, because I think Jack Black is number 5. I think he is so funny.
No way. That is hilarious.
I think, because I'm obsessed with Polka King and Bernie, and I love Nacho Libre.
So good, amazing. Yeah.
Those are all characters that he plays that, I mean, he just kind of gets lost in, and I think he played them so
Nacho
well.
And Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. Yep, Kung Fu.
Nacho!
Wait, what was your third one?
Nacho Libre was my favorite of his.
No, what was your third one that you listed?
Yeah, so you mentioned 3. Bernie and Polka King.
Polka King, Bernie, and Nacho Libre.
Okay, so you didn't, yeah.
So that's 3, Grant. So
Polka
1,
King and
2,
Bernie.
3.
Yeah, so let's count them for you. So
I thought it said Nacho, but you said
1.
Polka King, Bernie.
But I didn't hear what he said. And then you said
Nacho.
Yeah,
Nacho.
it's okay. It's all right.
So I thought it was a different movie.
Nacho!
You forgot about King Kong, right? The cameraman?
Yeah. That was fun. That's so funny because
we will finish the movie and the proceeds will go to the family.
I listened to an interview with him, and they're like when he was at the height of his power, they're like, what would you want to do? And he's like, I'd like to work with Peter Jackson. I just watched Lord of the Rings. And all of a sudden, his guy got right back to him, and he's like, yeah, he wants to work with you. And he's like, okay. So,
which is so cool if you think about it, the things that he's been able to do. But I have to say, I cannot believe you didn't add School of Rock. That is the performance he was
Sorry,
meant
Ty.
to play.
I actually don't like that movie. I know you're going to hate me for that, but I just...
Well, that's your second strike for the podcast.
I can't even remember.
Is that right, Grant? Such an idea, dude.
So,
that's awesome.
But I love he's an amazing singer, Tenacious D. Anyways,
yeah, dude.
So number 4, we got Bruce Willis. Okay, so I think Die Hard...
Is there any more range? Need I explain that is his range? Hey, baby, good. Like, that's the range of Bruce Willis right there. How is he so pitching high on your list?
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Yippee-ki-yay.
The Die Hard trilogy, it's Cinco.
Quad? 5? There's 5 now.
So,
maybe 6?
But there's 3 films that he's good in.
Five-ology?
The first one, the third one, and the fourth one. I love that character.
We are Live Free Die Hard apologists, by the way.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction, I just love his performance in Pulp Fiction. When he loses it and starts throwing the TV, and he's like, Mother F! It's to die for. And then I can never get over his performance in The Sixth Sense. Like, I know it's... And Unbreakable. Oh, I love him in Unbreakable. But Sixth Sense beats it only because that scene when the guy's walking away, he's like, yeah, keep fucking cheese. Like, I never get over that. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's so good. I love Bruce Willis.
Who knew? Number 4. Holy crap.
And so number 3, and this is because childhood loved him forever. Harrison Ford, Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's just, if there's anybody that looks amazing, if any,
coolest action star ever.
Yeah,
dude.
so Raiders of the Lost Ark, Blade Runner, Fugitive. I love him in The Witness. I think he's amazing.
Star Wars.
The Witness. I don't think I've seen that movie. I'll have to look it up.
So it's a Peter Weir movie who made Truman Show and Dead Poet Society.
Oh, wow.
Amazing films. And so he just looks good on
Clear
film.
and Present Danger was good too. Sorry, just throwing out all
Yes,
those
Clear and Present Danger.
And Solo. You mentioned Solo, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned that.
Like, if you want to watch a movie and somebody that looks good on grain and film, he is one of those people. He just looks, he's just got that jaw and just, anyways.
That beautiful jaw.
Dude, I have a poster of him with a whip and an open shirt.
Yes.
And you might be thinking that sounds inappropriate. Well, it's just Raiders of the Lost Ark. But he is standing there with an open shirt and a whip. And it sounds very...
He's not covered in leather like Mad Max 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's true. He's not all in leather.
Oh, speaking of all that leather and Mad Max, my number 2 is Mel Gibson.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For Mad Max, yeah. He was in Mad Max. I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
My favorite of his performances is Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, and that's an amazing 4 films.
The Patriot.
Signs gets me every time, guys. Every time I watch it, I just bawl my eyes out when he's talking to his kids.
Crying.
I love his performance in Conspiracy Theory, Dragged Across Concrete. He's still making movies today that I love. Dragged Across Concrete and The Beaver. I love him in The Beaver. The Mad Max movies, the originals, are my favorite. I personally like those more than the new one. So I just think...
No, you don't. No, you
I do.
You're mistaken.
Mel Gibson,
No,
I
you
think, is
don't.
unbelievably good.
You
And he
don't.
reminds me
You're just
so much
saying
of my
that.
father.
Psycho.
He reminds me so much of my dad. It's
My
crazy.
father.
My father.
Father. I am your mother.
And if I ever had a man crush, it would be on Mel Gibson. He just has that perfect hairy bod. What can I say?
Wait. So he
have a
reminds
crush
you
on
most
your
of your
dad.
father.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
jeez.
you immediately follow it with, if I ever had a man crush, it's with your own
If I would
father.
ever kiss anyone, it'd be my father. I mean, what?
Well, we are unpacking a lot for you, gracious listeners. So you heard it here first on the pod.
Yeah, I got. Okay, and then number 1. Okay,
Don't call it.
Yeah, right after that, please.
Just call it.
number 1, and
Doesn't sound any less creepy.
this may be a bias, but I am wearing a shirt right now of his movie. I have a pillow with his face on it. I will sleep on it.
No, it's not his
It's
face. It's his
Nick-
entire shirtless body.
Nick Cage is my favorite actor. And the reason being is because he is still making movies today that I actually like even more than his older films. And I think he's actually getting better personally as an actor. Like his...
National Treasure better be number 1. If it's not, you're wrong.
That is not. Oh my gosh.
My favorite of his performances, my favorite movie, and it might make my top 10 eventually, but it's in my top 100. Mandy, I think, is one of his best performances. He gets lost in the role. Pig is second, which just came out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if he's making movies this good still today, like, I mean, and going back even further, Leaving Las Vegas definitely deserved the win that Oscar, and as well as Adaptation, I think is an unbelievably good performance.
I think you should have got 2 Oscars for both performances. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, wouldn't that have been so great if a pair of twins had won the Oscar and they gave him 2 figurines? That would have been so great.
Oh,
dude.
that would have been so funny. Oh my gosh,
Like,
they should have.
playing for both characters, like for Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor.
And,
both for one role.
well, and I love all his, like, Nick Cage's losing his shiz. I always watch that on YouTube just to make myself feel better, and I just love that
Some people pay for therapy. Jordan watched Nick Cage videos.
It's true.
Like, I just channel my rage through Cage, dude.
When he just loses his mind and he's like, "Evan hangers!" and he's like smacking the hangers out of his closet, like, Evan hangers. And when he's on the bed losing his mind, he's like, like, there's nothing more entertaining than seeing him just go absolutely insane and just like,
shit.
yeah, and it's just punching women.
Jesus freaks.
Punching
Weirdo,
women.
hippie type. Punching bears in the face and Wicker Man.
In the Wicker Man.
Not the eyes. Evil. Pure evil. Guys, Nick Cage is a meme. He is transcended them
He
all.
is transcend. When you guys said transcending memes, this man has done that. So
Yes. It was funny that we mentioned it because I was like, I didn't think he'd be your number 1. I figured he'd be on your list, but that is so
The
funny.
fact that you don't have Jake Gyllenhaal in your top 10 is disgusting.
I don't know. I was
Brad
pleasantly
Pitt.
surprised with Jordan's list.
These are my
I know
personal favorite. Like,
I know Chip.
If it was a list of like best actors of all time, maybe he would probably be up there. Because honestly, I can think of all his performances. I'm like, even in bad movies, he's still amazing. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
So Karen, I thought it was fun that me and you both had Leo on number 3, which I thought was great. But overlapping actors, I was taking note. We had Gyllenhaal, DiCaprio, Ryan Gosling, Christian Bale, and Matt Damon, and Brad Pitt. I think those. Yep, and Brad Pitt.
I had Brad Pitt.
And Tom Hanks almost,
fell off my
but no,
list.
Tom Hanks got kicked. You had Brad Pitt on your list.
Yeah,
Jordan?
a lot of people fell off my list, like Tom Hanks, Jonah Hill. I love him in Worth Wall Street.
I thought Robert Downey Jr. for a while because I loved him
I had
in like, Tropic
RDJ.
Thunder.
I had RDJ. He was in my honorable mentions. But same thing with Hugh Jackman. I'm like, I love him in Prestige and I love him in Prisoners. But I'm like, there's just not that. Like Logan's great, but I'm just like, I couldn't put him in top 11.
Those are 3 performances: Les Mis, Prisoners, and Logan. He was in my 14.
Yeah,
so he was just under
just not good
Tom
enough.
Hanks.
Like you can't
and
beat out
Robert
Robin
Downey Jr.
Williams for me. I'm like,
I know Robin Williams, and then Matt and Leo. I'm like, that is so
And
hard.
I do
to
feel
not
bad
put
for
them on
not
my list.
mentioning he was in my list. I mean, like, look, you just go through these actors and you're like, oh my gosh, like, so I had put Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, Anya Taylor-Joy, Cary Grant, Nicolas Cage,
Anya
Shia
Taylor-Joy,
LaBeouf,
why
Mel
the F is
Gibson,
a woman?
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh.
Shia LaBeouf was another memeable one, but I was like, he is so good, guys. Like Honey
I
Boy
love that, man.
and Peanut Butter Falcon.
Transformers
Unbelievable.
3. Oh my god.
Mel Gibson, Jackie Chan, Samuel Jackson, Kevin Spacey. I mean, I know it's controversial because he's white, but Jack Nicholson, Humphrey Bogart, Jimmy Stewart, Tom Cruise, Heath Ledger, Chris Farley, Matthew McConaughey, Joaquin Phoenix. None of us mentioned Joaquin. I just have to give it a shout out.
See,
amazing.
For me,
actor.
he's got 2.
Joker.
He's got her.
I thought you were gonna say
he's got her and Joker, and I was
Joker.
like, I couldn't get a third where I'm like, oh my god.
You should watch The Master, Cameron. You might think he's the greatest actor of all time.
The Master.
I was gonna put Denzel just for Training Day. Training Day is like
smacks himself
one of
in
the
the
most
face, like,
the
it's
best
crazy.
performances I've
That
ever
is so
seen.
good.
Yeah, see, same
I
Jordan for
love
me.
Training
Cillian
Day.
Murphy alone in what's called 28 Days Later and
Sunshine?
No, not Sunshine. Sunshine, not for me.
Sunshine, right?
What's his other? Oh, Red Eye. Red Eye. He's so creepy with that effing pen in his throat.
Scary as shit.
Cillian Murphy and Sunshine's great. Yeah, it is funny, and so I just wanted to throw that out there because like all those actors were like in my head, and I'm like, how do you even differentiate between these? And like I said, so actually, to be fair to Gyllenhaal, he's a great actor, but I do remember thinking like I love Nightcrawler so much that I didn't even care what the other 2 movies were, but I was like, oh, he's great in Enemy. But he's great in
Zodiac and Prisoners.
because like I haven't even seen the movie, the Brokeback Mountain, but like he was great in Spider-Man. Like I liked him as Mysterio, but like I was like he does have Zodiac and Prisoners, but Detective Loki, yeah, that's up there. So I was like, so these 2 performances, but I was like after that, none of these movies I'm crazy about, but I do love his performance. But
Karen, I'm surprised you didn't mention Donnie Darko.
You need to watch The Guilty.
I said it.
With Jake
Oh, you did,
Gyllenhaal.
okay.
Yeah,
The Guilty?
It's number 3 for me, Jordan.
It's so good.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to watch The Guilty. I'm interested
It's
now.
really
But
good.
yeah, some of mine that were mentioned.
Oh wait, no, I did watch The Guilty. No, you're talking about the one where he answers the phone.
Yeah.
I did see it. I did like it. I just want to see the foreign film now.
The foreign film
very
is
much,
so good.
The ones that didn't make my list was Mark Ruffalo, Cillian Murphy, Hugh Jackman, Tom
Mark
Hardy.
Wait. Mark Ruffalo. Why do you like Mark Ruffalo?
Okay, I love him in Zodiac.
The Hulk.
He's good. He's great in Thor Ragnarok. I like him, but that's like the only one that I love him in. And then I also love him in what's the one with
Spotlight?
Michael
Robbie,
Fox,
they do.
or what's her name? Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Collateral. I love him as the cop in that one. He's really good. And then he's also great in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And then I also love like Bill Murray, Will Smith, Tom Cruise, Denzel,
Bill Murray was one.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
I forgot to
Keanu
mention.
Reeves, and Casey Affleck and Michael Fassbender for me as well.
That's great. I love adding those in. Grant, did you have any others that you had to kick off real quick?
The only one that wasn't mentioned was Owen Wilson. I really
Wow. I'm glad you thought to add Owen Wilson. No. That's great.
Behind Enemy Lines, I love that movie with him in it. It's
I
so
love
good.
that. You're probably one of the few people that do love that movie. I love it
And
too.
Cars.
I love him in Shanghai Noon. I think he is the funniest
Shanghai
cowboy of all
Noon.
time.
So
he's the
funny.
funniest cowboy of
Dude,
all time.
he's great in Wonder too as the dad. I was surprised. Like he played kind of more of like he literally just played Owen Wilson, but he was
And
fun.
all his performances in Wes Anderson movies are great.
Guys, Bottle Rocket is the best Wes Anderson movie of all time. Just saying it out here in the pod. So
Sorry.
hey, no. What are you shy about? Sherry. Why am I adding an S? What are you shy about? I'm sorry. I never shower it. I sound like a freaking Shemp from the Three Stooges. We're gonna end the podcast now. All right, guys. We're ending the podcast. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Check us out. Check us out on futuremovies@gmail.com. Leave us a 5-star review. Like us. Check us on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram. Like and follow us. Leave us a 5-star review and leave us a comment. And if we like it, read it here. Or tell us a movie that you'd like us to review. This has been Futuro Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Finally.
Finally, some action.